Grand Rising, everybody. Today is Saturday, July the 18th. Welcome to another episode of Operation Wisedome. I'm Cameron Wilson. Of course, Operation Wisedome is powered by power inherent in the people. I'm really hoping that all of y'all are blessed and beautiful this weekend. We're having someone that's a little bit different than our normal our normalcy around here. You know, we're all about the liberty, we're all about the sovereignty, we're all about the law, we're all about trying to figure out all of these things to pique your knowledge. But I think we should go into a little bit something different that has come across and that I'd like to kind of go into and give some questions and learn further about them, all about knowledge. So today we're going to be hosting Dustin. Say hello, Dustin.
What's up, everybody? Hey, Cam, thanks for having me. I love everything you guys do. You and I connected on Instagram, and I was like, this is so cool. And I just hearing what you guys are talking about. This is something I've never learned, so I'm glad to be here learning from you guys too.
That's cool because we're going to be learning from you today.
Well, and what's fun too, you talked about sovereignty,
Yeah.
and I love teaching people. I've been doing it for like 10 years. I started investing back in 2006. I'll get into it in just a minute, but the goal is financial sovereignty, so you don't have anybody over you that's going to hold a job over your head. So I love the idea of sovereignty. I'm with you.
100%, man. I'm with you too on that. So that's why we're so excited to have you. What I wanted to kind of do is just, I guess, first off, have you give an introduction on who you are and how you got into this thing, and then maybe we'll start getting into some questions. I love to keep the floor open as well to any of my Wisdom members to ask questions as we move through today's Operation Wisdoms. But yeah, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dustin Heiner, uh, I started investing back in 2006. Just kept buying property after property, and I was working a dead end job, is what I like to call a job, is because you're living just over broke. And when you're living just over broke, you basically just go to work and then watch TV all day, and then go to work and watch TV, and just life kind of goes by. And I realized that I need to do something different, so I bought real estate and started buying property after property. And so I do have a full presentation. I can walk you through everything, and then got plenty of time for questions because as I'm going to teach you through all this, like I've actually coached thousands of people now how to do this. You're gonna have lots of great questions, and I'll be able to answer all the questions. But I have 5 kids. My wife and I, we homeschool our kids, and we are very, very blessed. Been married 20 years, and now I quit my job back in 2016, and so 10 years of never working for anybody else again.
Let's go, bro. That's cool. Yeah, 5 kids is a lot. We got five on our side, so I can definitely relate there on that one.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, so let's see. You said you had kind of like a presentation. There's no doubt. If you're wanting to go through that a little bit, because I got a lot of questions, so I would think that a lot of my questions wouldn't be as good as if you did a little presentation on some things. So if you've kind of prepared yourself to do a little presentation, I would be inclined to kind of listen, sit back and listen for a little bit. How do you feel?
Love it. Love it.
Yeah?
Love it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That'd be fantastic because honestly, most questions will be answered as we go through it, and then you'll have better questions. Everybody will have better questions once we get done because, and I've done, let's see, this is exactly how I started. In fact, I was quitting my job because I invested in real estate. And people were asking me, how are you not working a job and still being able to provide for your family? And I replied, well, I invest in real estate. And everybody always replied the same question. Well, can you show me? And I was like, okay. So I started showing people, which was great, family and friends and all that sort of stuff. And I realized everybody had great questions, but they're all the same questions. And so I wrote a book and I said, here, just read this book. And then when you're done, you're going to have better questions that apply to you. Very similar thing. This
Yeah.
entire workshop that I have should be about 30, maybe 40 minutes. But it literally walks you step by step through the process. So you understand my mentality and how I invest and coach now thousands of people, that now you got great questions that'll help you in the next step for you.
So then let me ask you, what dead end job was you doing before you even got into this?
I was working for a local county government in California.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just doing sales, but that's
Oh,
cool too. Okay, yeah. I mean, if you want to, I can give you share eligibility and everything.
awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
But I
down.
know we got plenty of time to you. I know you guys have great. You will have great questions, and so I'd love to take all those questions too. I even have a whiteboard in case I need to write
Right.
down stuff.
That's cool. I mean, I have some preliminary ones before if you want to get started.
We could let's do that. Let's your top, 2 or 3 questions, and then I could jump in my
Okay.
whole entire presentation.
All right. Let's do it like that. All right. So when did um all right. So you worked in government. How was your experience within the government in and of itself? Let's start like that.
Oh, it's terrible. Absolutely hate the government. It's it. I'm a doer type of personality. Now I own 4 businesses, lots of real estate, which I'll get into in a little bit. But government, so they have no incentive at all to do anything good other than for themselves to make a paycheck and then make their lives, other people's lives miserable. That's literally. Now you get some good eggs in there occasionally, very, very occasionally. But I even had somebody. I was a project manager, basically, bringing IT type stuff into the well, in the department. I was working at the assessor's office. Assessor assesses real estate and stuff like that. But somebody, like one of the employees, she'd been there for like 30 years. She would literally sleep at her desk, like fall asleep, like that. And the supervisor's directly across from her, looking at her, and she can't. She's tried to do things, but she can't because of union and all that garbage. But
Yeah.
no, government is absolutely terrible. If I love what Ronald Reagan said. He was said the worst thing that could ever happen is somebody knock at your door and you open it and somebody says, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." I'm like, yes, that's the worst thing I would ever hear.
That's a fact. Okay. Now, you call your philosophy successfully unemployed. Are you unemployed or did you replace employment with entrepreneurship?
Great question. So the terminology for successfully unemployed is I found a way to make money to provide for myself and my family without working a dead end job, that just over broke job. And I found real estate got me into the idea of having assets and not working for somebody else, but then also entrepreneurship has always been a part of my life. So building businesses and all that sort of stuff. And so they both, honestly, they go hand in hand, which the entire thought is we are business owners. And when you own a business, then you don't, nobody can take it away from you unless the government does something that's really stupid.
Right. Um, what is your operational definition of freedom? Is it time independence, positive money cash flow, net worth, control over one's labor, the ability to withstand an emergency, freedom from both employers and lenders? Like, where do you kind of set that as far as
So I
definition?
would say every single thing you just said is 100% spot on, but there's a progression. You have to go through different steps in order to get to where you are, where you have sovereignty, financial sovereignty, and even just like I love America, how we have the Second Amendment, being able to protect ourselves. Like some people say, oh, they talk about other people's first responders, nothing to degrade them at all. But like for my family, I'm the first responder. I'm not waiting for anybody else. And so when I think of sovereignty, I think of the entire package of time sovereignty, money sovereignty, relationship, being able to do something like this, get on calls with people and serve people, but all the above. But there's a progression that everybody has to go through.
Right. Good answer. Which part of your original real estate philosophy have you since concluded might be wrong? Oh, got him.
Ah,
Got you on one there.
well, and the reason why is because I started investing back in 2006 before the crash. So, 2008 crash.
Yeah.
And before that, and I solely invest. I didn't know how to invest, but I knew I wanted to replace my income from a job. And the way to do that was to make income from the real estate that I owned. I wasn't flipping properties. I wasn't hoping that the price would go up to eventually, whatever with appreciation, which in 2008, I saw so many real estate investors people who thought they were real estate investors go bankrupt. I
Hmm.
made more money in 2008, 9, and 10 because I was solely investing for cash flow, income every single month from all my rental properties. And I made more money. You might be thinking, well, Dustin, how'd you make more money? Well, sadly, people would lose their jobs, they'd foreclose on their homes, which is very sad,
Yeah.
but they become renters. I'm a landlord. I own properties that they want to rent. So my demand skyrocketed. So rents went up. And so from the very beginning, that's exactly what I've been doing. In fact, I will never sell any of my properties, and I'll talk through my portfolio here in a little bit. But I'll never sell any of my properties. I'll literally give them to my kids in legacy,
Yeah.
financial legacy to my kids, and sovereignty for them. I've even my 16-year-old. You can't. She's right there. You can barely see her right there.
Yeah.
Um, she bought her first property at 16 years old. She's now
What?
18. Yeah, she bought
That's
her first property. My other kids, they're already on their way to buying their first property, and so that's how I've always invested solely for income, and it's by far saved me because now I make so much money, which I'll get into in the presentation.
okay. I know we always like to talk about the good too, but what was your worst or what was your most expensive mistake?
Most expensive mistake, and this is a great
Yeah.
question because it's not in my presentation. Um,
Of course
Yeah.
not.
My most expensive mistake was when I had no clue what I was doing, meaning starting investing in real estate. I had no idea. In fact, back in 2006, when I first started investing, they don't have these much anymore, but there's a thing called infomercials. And if you're a little bit older, you know what an infomercial is. When you work a dead end job, what you do is you go to work and then you watch TV or watch sports, and you just kind of do that's all your life is. And you try to escape by going on vacation every once in a year when your boss lets you.
Yeah.
And so I was watching a late night infomercial, and this guru, quote unquote guru, real estate guru, comes on and says, "Hey, we're coming to your town, a free 2 hour seminar." I'm like, "That's great, I'll go." Well, it was all sales pitch, all hype for like a $80,000 pack. It was terrible, but I took what little bit they told me, and I had no clue what I was doing. Meaning, they didn't teach you anything. In fact, in their courses that they charge 80 grand for, in fact, you'll find people now that are charging 80, 100 grand, which is just ridiculous.
Crazy.
They don't teach you what you need to do. I took what little they taught, X, Y, and Z, and I bought my first property. I was living in California at the time, bought in Ohio, and my property manager started stealing from me within 6 months
Oh
because I
God.
had no clue what I was doing. I was following what those gurus were telling. They have
Yeah.
no clue what they're doing. But then I realized that as I'm not the first person ever to do real estate. It's worked in the past. I have to figure this out. In my presentation, I'll walk you through how I figured it out. But the
Okay.
most expensive mistake was not building the business first. By not getting the right people, getting all the right infrastructure, systems, procedures, processes, and I'll go through that in the presentation. I did not do that. And then all bad things started happening. And then I realized, oh, shoot, that's the wrong way to do it. Following this quote unquote gurus, like even Instagram, like you're going to find gurus on there that have no clue what they're doing. The last, 3 years. Oh yeah, I just started buying real estate, and it's been an up market for the last since 2020. So, long story short, I found that when I didn't build a business, I lost 10, 20, $30,000 doing it the wrong way. But when I did it the right way, then now I duplicate it. Now I invest in 5 different states, which I'll get into in the
So
presentation.
essentially the foundation. Foundation
Correct,
first.
100%.
Yeah. One last question before I kind of let you take the lead here. Um, is real estate the source of your freedom, or is disciplined business ownership the source, with real estate being one vehicle?
Bring them together. So remember, I told you, I'm now realizing my investing or my real estate is a business. We build a business first, like the
Yeah.
foundation. And so that is the vehicle to do it. It doesn't matter if your business is real estate, if it's you're selling, you have a brick and mortar store that's a business that you're selling things, inventory, and all that sort of stuff, or you have a service business. Just think of it's a business, and one of the inventory or type of service that you provide is housing for somebody. So that is how I realized. Now I would say the majority, the majority of my money comes from my real estate. I'll go through my entire portfolio now. But then now the other businesses that I have now also, here's a quote, or a quote, an idea. People think of streams of income, like we want lots of streams of income, or like different streams of income. Passive income would be great. I have lots of streams of income, but I do have all those streams of income flowing into my river of income, which is my real estate. Because whether I work or not, my properties are working for me. Inflation, I don't care about inflation. In fact, if inflation happens, I make more money because rents go up and my tenants are paying for all this rent. And they have a great place to stay. So for me, the entire process is we build a business. And again, I literally walk you through the entire process. Build
Yeah.
the business. And then part of my one business is having properties for people to rent out. And other businesses, I have a software company that actually helps investors get better, which, well, I'll talk you through all that stuff.
That's cool. Okay, watch out. Okay, so then I'm not even going to go into establishing the actual portfolio type questions. I guess I'll just kind of let you take the lead a little bit here. I'm loving it so far. Like you're doing great. And yeah, I shared the screen eligibility for you to share the screen,
Awesome.
and I'll just want to sit back and listen for a little bit, learn
Love it.
something new.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, here we go. All right. So let's see. Can you see that?
Yeah,
There we
for
go.
sure. Yeah.
Perfect. So let's see if I can do that. There we go. So I am pumped. Cam, thank you so much for having me on. Everybody, I really appreciate you being here. This is, if you can tell, like my personality, like I love talking about this. I love serving people. I love helping people because I haven't had a job for 10 years. And it's funny enough, I haven't even had coffee. Like I don't drink coffee. This is my personality as I am. So I'm super pumped to be here. I've been helping people for about 10 years, and it's a way, not necessarily for me to give back. It's not about that. It's a way for me to serve others. And
Mm.
I'm a Christ follower. I read the Bible multiple times a day. And I know Christ says it's better to give than receive. And so I'm like, how do I give more and more? So, anyways, let's jump into it. I can't wait. I'm hopefully going to blow your minds at how not easy, but simple real
Mm.
estate investing is for sovereignty, financial sovereignty.
I
So
love
let's
it, bro. I
dive.
love it, bro. I love it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So yeah, my name's Dustin Heiner, founder of Master Passive Income. That's the company I started back 10 years ago, started coaching people. And I also, with Master Passive Income, I have so many students now that have graduated and done so really well that they now become coaches here at Master Passive Income, helping other people. One of my students also was amazing programmer and an amazing investor. So we created a software program that helps investors get even better, which I'll walk you through. In fact,
Awesome.
I'll even show you how to find properties, how to select, and I'll get into that. Okay, so I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, here I am. So my wife and I, we love to travel. I've been investing since 2006. I have 30 plus, I think it's like 35 now, single family homes. The majority of them are paid off. My wife's comfort level was having them paid off because she didn't want a lot of mortgages. So we're blessed to have lots of income coming in and not having the banks take all of our money. Actually, I got to change the slide. We just bought another apartment complex. So we're about 950 apartment units.
That's
Um,
amazing, bro. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Yeah, praise the Lord. It's been amazing, and they're three large apartment complexes, so it's amazing.
That's
Then
awesome.
hotels. I've always loved playing Monopoly growing up, and so I got to invest in some hotels. I'm like, great. I played Monopoly in my life.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
so the next up. So here's my life's mission now, because financial independence is amazing. That frees you up to now see how can I serve more people? Because the great thing, when I serve more people in my life, the more money I make, but the more money they make. Their
Right.
lives are better. Then they look at me and say, Dustin, thank you so much for helping me. And so my goal is to help 1 million people to
Mm.
invest in real estate, become financially independent. And I like the idea of sovereignty, financial sovereignty as well. So I have a couple of things. So I have the main thing that I started back in 2000 and I think 15 was my podcast, Master Passive Income Podcast, 2.3 million downloads now. It's the number one real estate investing podcast on iTunes. And if you look up real estate investing, you'll find me. But it's really just a solo show, me just coaching, telling this is exactly how you do this as well. So I'd love it if you wanted to listen to it, Master Passive Income. And then also social media, you can find me, the Dustin Heiner. It's me just also giving more and more content of how to help people. Now, I've also coached thousands of people, like I told you, and I put on large real estate investor conferences with my students, and we get together and we have an amazing time. So this one's called, our conference is called Income Building Live. Then I also help other more active investors. We go on retreats. So we went to Africa in July of last year. This next January, we're going to go a cruise in the Caribbean, all investing. And here's a great thing. It's a tax write-off. Like, we stick to the government. Exactly. We use their rules against them. But
Yeah.
this is a mastermind where we get together and have an amazing time and work on our business. And we
Okay.
also do
Okay.
masterminds
Wait.
throughout. Go ahead.
Wait a second. You did one of the things we are like really focused on. That's kind of like our core principle. is you say a mastermind. So I'm
Yes.
assuming you have a clear understanding of what a mastermind is. Would you mind explaining what a mastermind is real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been a part of a few masterminds. In fact, last year I paid $50,000 to be a part of a really high level business mastermind, and it was worth it 100%. So what a mastermind, how I have experienced it and how I run my masterminds is these are more active people who are not just kicking tires, they're not just getting started. Like these are people who are like, no, I am 100% in and I want to get around amazing people who are also doing it as well. Like you see this picture here, we had this is one of our masterminds. We had all these people come together, and for 2 days, this is how master. And it doesn't have to be in person, but ours is in person. 4 times a year, we get together for 2 days, and it's a 2 day intensive where we're all helping each other. Obviously, I'm the coach, and so I'm coaching them. We have hot seats where one person sits down and says, "Here is where I'm struggling. Can you guys, speak into my life?" And we grow so much closer together and help each other grow and scale. But what a mastermind really is, if you think about getting in the right room with the right people, that's going to help you to 10x, 100x what you are currently doing in anything that you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yes, most definitely, because there's still the whole term of mastermind actually comes from Napoleon Hill, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken on that. And a lot of people still to this day, if you ask them the question, which I do it all the time, I will ask, we'll see where their mind frame's at. What is a mastermind? And a lot of people still to this day think a mastermind is one individual who knows it all. And that's so far from the truth because it's a collective group of individuals that come together to make one mind. And so that's kind of the spinoff of why we have Operation Wisedome, which of course is a spinoff of Wisdom, but again, a whole hive mind that comes together as a true mastermind in its definition. So yeah,
That's exactly this is not like high level coaching. That's not, even though I will do coaching, do high level coaching, helping all my people to get into apartment complexes by 30, 50, 100 unit apartment complex. Of course, that's a part of it too. That also helps. But it's the people around each other. So you see me in this picture, I'm right in the middle left, but everybody else, they're all active investors and they all have different things that are going on in their life that other people can learn from. Like they might actually, they get this all the time. Dustin, I came with my questions, but just hearing other people's questions and then other people answering their questions of what their experience was and how they did it, that is what a mastermind is. It's a hive mind of all these amazing people.
yep, yep,
So
100%. Okay,
awesome.
sorry. Yeah.
Yep. Love it. Okay, so yeah, but we put on these masterminds, and what I love to do is really just help so many people connect and grow together. But let's dive into it. Let me walk you through exactly how to do this and every single step of the way. Now, this is how I turned 10 properties into $10 million in my spare time investing in real estate, and how you can too. I'm going to literally walk you through the entire process. And by the time I'm done, you're like 10 right now. You might be thinking, Dustin, 10 million? Dude, how in the world? Like what? Trust me. By the end, when I'm done, you're like, oh my goodness, it's that simple. Yes, it is. I've coached, like I said, I mean, shoot, you can see how many people I've coached so many people how to do this. And I'm glad you're a part of this. Now, first thing though,
Me too.
definitely have to tell you, this is not a get rich quick scheme. In fact, if you're here for that, you can go ahead and sign off now. Well, don't risk, you'll learn a lot, but like this is not what this is all about. In fact, this takes time. And I'm sharing what worked for me. And like I said, countless or thousands of others. And each result is specific to each person. And it does take time and effort. So just keep that in mind. Now, I got to tell you this quick story because I want to get you in the right frame set, right mindset that you can do this. Like I said, I've coached thousands of people now already how to do it. Now, this is story. I want to give you a story about a 4 minute mile. You might be thinking, Dustin, 10 million? There's no way. I don't even have anything, let alone get to 10 million. Well, everybody has to start somewhere. But let me show you this too. The 4 minute mile. Now, for all the history of the world, there had never been a person to run 1 mile in under 4 minutes.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. Never had anybody run a mile in under 4 minutes, but one person actually did. One person, the first man to ever break the 4 minute mile was Roger Bannister. So on May 6th, 1954, he broke that 4 minute mile barrier, ran it in 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds. Remember, nobody else had ever done it for the history of the world. He did it.
Dude,
And it
and
was,
that picture is like the last one you did is like the most amazing because look at like the timers right there over
yep.
on the right hand side. Like that is the most, yeah, that's amazing. Okay, cool.
It's earth shattering. Everybody is like, "Oh my goodness, this is crazy. This is insane. It's never happened." But then people, after that started died down, started asking the question, could it be done again? And
Hmm.
how long would it take before someone else does it too? And even though no one had ever broken it before, Roger, another person did it too. So you see, on the left is Roger Bannister, and on the right is John Landy. They've ran against each other, but he's the second man to break the 4 minute mile barrier. Now, people were thinking, is it going to take, 5 years, 10 years, 100 years before somebody breaks that record? Well, John Landy on June 21st, 1954, just 46 days after Bannister, John Landy beat his record by 1.5 seconds faster than Bannister. Remember, nobody had ever done it.
Hmm.
Roger Bannister did it,
Yep.
proved that it was possible. He
Hmm.
proved that somebody could do it. And John Landy said, you know what? Somebody did it. I can too. And since then, the 4 minute mile barrier has been broken over and over. 1,400 other plus men have broken that 4 minute mile barrier. And the reason why I tell this story, because remember, starting from 0 to 10 million, I'm like, that just sounds crazy. Well, I'm here to tell you is what one person can do, another person can do.
Straight
I
up.
want you to get that in your mind. What one person can do, another person can do. And I want to share with you my 4 minute mile experience. So here's a gentleman. His name's Robert Kiyosaki.
Hmm.
He wrote a really good book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And it really helps you to change your mindset from being an active income employee to a passive income investor or business owner. Because rich people, they utilize us little peons to run their businesses for them and make them money. Well, he helped us to flip that. And I realized when I was reading his book that Robert, he took 2 years off from doing any work. He literally quit everything and had 2 years of vacation after he quit his job and built passive income businesses. And so I said, I want to do that. So here's what's funny. 2 months after I got married, I gave myself a deadline. And don't get me wrong, it's not a goal. It's not a goal, it's a deadline. I said, I'm burning the bridges as I go. I'm burning the ships. This is, if I don't finish this, I'm still going to make myself quit. But on June 6, 2007, I said, in 10 years, I'm going to quit my job. And I was really blessed. In 2016, December 16th, I officially quit my job and I have not had a job. And I will never, ever work a job again. And now my wife and I, we love traveling the world. We love doing all that stuff together. But here's what I want you to realize what one person can do, I can do. Now, I know everybody's muted and everything, but can you type this in chat? Can you type a number one if you agree with that? Type the number one. What one person can do, I can do. If you believe that, which I know you can, type that number one in the chat. Awesome. Look at that. There we go.
Yeah, they and they can truly speak on this too because it's kind of like exactly, the everything that I'm bringing forward as far as my success and everything that we've been doing in the courts is also relaying over, what I can do and what I know is what y'all can do as well. You just have to have the mindset to do it. And so it's perfect, bro. Perfect.
Awesome. Good, good. Look at all right. All right. 1A Liberty guy. Lori, there we go. Dan, awesome camp. There we go. KJ, perfect. Love it. I want you guys to realize this. And honestly, now that you're starting to see that it's possible, something that if somebody else can do it, I'm going to walk you through how I did all this real estate investing. Now, honestly, everyone here today can make over $20,000 a month investing in real estate, not overnight, over time, but eventually you will. And by the time I'm done, your mind's gonna be blown like, oh my goodness, this is 100% possible. Now,
Yep.
when you're working a job, you're working a job because you're living just over broke. And this is how you'll know your boss is paying you just enough to keep you working without quitting, but not so much money it takes money out of their pocket. If they paid you what you're worth, they would go broke. So instead, find another way to become financially sovereign. Now, I want you to also ask yourself this question: why? Why do you want to invest? Why do you want financial sovereignty over your life? Could it be to travel the world? Maybe to buy that new car that you always wanted, not the one you need, but the one that you want. Never look at the price when you go out eating restaurants. Never worry about bills again. Like I don't worry about my mortgages ever. I also, when I go to the restaurant, I order two steaks, a filet and a ribeye, because they both taste good, and I bring them home. I want you to have that feeling as well. Now, think about this. What does your ideal life look like? And what does that perfect day look like to you? Could it be relaxing on the beach? Could it be hanging out with your kids or grandkids? Could it be serving some people? Like, think about that.
Right.
And then what would you do with your time if you never needed to work again? If you had 40 plus hours of your life back in your time, what would you do with a type and with your time? And then what's the most important things to you? Start thinking about that because when you do this, it's going to help you so much more as you go through because that why is going to go back into your brain and you're going to be able to move forward. Now, wouldn't you love to have more time, money, control, and freedom? Like we talked about this at the very beginning. Cam asked me a question, but that's the thing is we have to have these four things in our lives. It would be amazing to have more time where you're not working for somebody else, more money to be able to afford and do anything you want, control and freedom. We have sovereignty. Now, my why, I wanted my wife to be proud of me. I wanted my children to look up to me. I was tired of feeling like I was treading water, never getting anywhere. And I want to get paid what I knew I was worth. Now, when I started, I didn't have lots of money. I didn't have great credit. I didn't have any time. I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't have any connection to the business. But what I did have is at the time, I had four kids. I had a full-time job. I had a full-time family, a large business that wasn't making any money. In fact, we were going out of business, no money and no extra time. But in 2006, I bought my first rental property. I bought my first rental property. I still own it, and it makes me like, I don't know, $1,000 a month in cash flow now. It's just amazing. Now,
Where is this? Because there's so much snow there.
Ohio.
Okay, Ohio. Okay, cool.
Yep, Ohio.
Actually, what's crazy is that you mentioned Ohio. Ohio's right to travel bill we just released yesterday and initiated. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, go
There we
ahead.
go.
Sorry. That's cool. All right, cool.
So 2006, I bought my first property, but here's the business I was telling you about. So here's my wife and I in 2008. That's our oldest daughter now. She's 18 now, but we had a business that was starting to fail. And you remember in 2008, everything was crashing, but here is what really, let me share with you a quick story of what really shoved me and got me into real estate investing. So in 2011, we had our fourth daughter, our fourth kid. Her name's Faith. And when my wife had our kid, I was still working a job and I went on paternity leave. You know what paternity leave is, where the dad stays home with the mom, changes poopy diapers, all that stuff,
Yeah.
bonds with the baby. Well, after about 2 weeks, I go back to work and I'm sitting at my desk. At the same week, I get back to work on a Friday at 3:30 in the afternoon. I get a call from my boss's secretary, the top dog, and she says, "Dustin, would you please come to the office?" And I said, "Sure." And I hung up the phone. I thought for a second, like, why in the world are they calling me in the office? This is not normal. But I've seen plenty of movies. Friday at 3:30 is not a good sign to get called to the boss's office. And I immediately started thinking, am I going to get laid off? But I shook it off. I said, no way. I've been working here. I got so much seniority. My bosses love me. Shook it off. But then I got up and I started walking down the hallway to my boss's office. Now, this hallway isn't very long. In fact, it's kind of short. But every step that I took, it felt like the hallway got longer and longer and longer. And it felt like my feet became lead bricks because the thought of potentially losing my job was starting to crush down on me. Well, I get down the hallway and I turn the corner. I see my boss's door. His door's closed. And I see his secretary there. Super sweet, nice old lady. Her name's Rosemary. She's terrific. She's kind of sheepishly grinning at me, kind of consoling me with her eyes because she knows everything about what's going on. I know nothing about what's going on. And she says, "Dustin, would you please have a seat?" So I go and I take my seat and I start thinking about my life. Like this entire plan that somebody else told me growing up and getting a job and then working years and years and then retiring at 65. Like, did I just waste my life doing this? And then oh my goodness, we just had our fourth kid. How am I going to provide for my family? And then I realized, oh my goodness, am I a failure as a father?
Mm.
Am I a failure as a man trying to provide for his family? Well, as I'm sitting there, my hands get all clammy, my forehead gets all sweaty because the nerves are just crushing me. Well, then the door to my boss's office opens up and out walks a coworker of mine with a piece of paper in her hands. She is noticeably distraught, very upset. She's not necessarily crying, but you could tell her world has been devastated. She passes by me, and then my boss ushers me into his office, and I get laid off. And remember, this is the government. Nobody gets fired or laid off from government, but I did. But the reason why I tell this story is because I took that layoff notice And I went down and I sat down at my desk and I realized two things sitting in my desk right there. Number one, I need to get another job. I need to be able to provide for my family. And so I was blessed, praise the Lord, to find another job in the same county, wasn't having the same department money issues. So check, I did that. But then sitting in my desk, I realized a second thing. I need to make sure this never, ever happens to me again. I need to make sure nobody can take away my ability to feed my family. So, right then and there, I became an income builder. And I'll walk you through exactly what that means and how to do it. But right then and there, I started telling every single person in my life. Now, a lot of us answer the question when we get asked a question, what do you do? We would normally reply with our job. Oh, I would say, yeah, I work for the county doing IT work. I said, no more will I ever identify myself and put my value in my job. No,
Yep.
my value comes from my job, not from my job, but from my God and myself and my family. So right then and there, I started telling every single person I am an investor. It may so happen that 100% of my money comes from my job. That's now my part-time job. I'm a full-time investor. So fast forward the story, started buying property after property after property, each one making me $500 a month, $1,000 a month or more. Eventually, I had 30 plus single family homes and I was blessed to be able to quit my job. So now currently all this real estate is because I kept recycling that money over and over again. And because I built a business, remember just a few minutes ago, I said the biggest problem was when I didn't build the business. Now, because of my automatic real estate investing business, I now have plenty of money all the time in the world, great credit, many automatic businesses, and no JOB and successfully employed. But most importantly, never have to worry about money again. Sovereignty and financial sovereignty is there. Our wealth grows automatically. You know, value goes up over time.
Yep.
Diversified over many asset classes. Our future is protected that from others taken away. And now I have generational wealth to give to my children. And now being successful and employed, this is me helping as many people as possible to invest in real estate. Remember, my goal is to help 1 million people. And hopefully you are one of them, but definitely remember this. What one person can do, another can do. In fact, at my conference, when I share this talk, what I do is this is us standing up. What one person can do, I can do, and everybody's standing up with their fists in the air saying, "I can do it." Because when you change your mindset and you realize that you can do it, you absolutely know that you will do it because you're now changed from internally. Now, the 4 minute mile has been broken. The process to $10 million in real estate has been done by people just like you. Now, do it one more time. Can you let's do a different number. Put a number 2 in the chat if you agree with this. Say what one person can do, I can do. Throw a 2 in the chat. I really would love it. Oh, Dan, awesome. Cam, Laura, thank you. Doug, perfect. Lisa, yes, what one person can do, I can do. I know that you can do it. Now, let me get into the practical how to do that. Now, $10 million in real estate investing, honestly, there's not one person here that I cannot help build a $10 million real estate investing business investing in real estate. Now, first question people ask, well, who is real estate investing for? Honestly, it's for everyone. It's anyone who's tired of running the rat race of life, anyone who wants to live their life on their own terms, anyone who wants to feel like a success in life, and anyone who wants to become financially independent and have that financial sovereignty. Now, you can have an automatic business that makes you money while you sleep so that you can hopefully travel the world, retire early. My wife and I, and our kids, we love to travel. We travel everywhere. We just got back from Japan last month. And so you can actually have this too. Now, I knew there had to be a way out of the rat race of life, but I knew what I was doing, working a job, was not working. And I also knew no one should have to live paycheck to paycheck, but I needed a business that would help me to retire early. And there must be a system that not just a random thing, no, a system out there to achieve my goals and what others have done. I know I can do it. And I needed to follow someone else's path. And I knew that I needed a change. And I wanted to have more time, money, and control over my life. But what I needed to do was find the secret to wealth. Now, the secret to wealth, which I'm so pumped to share with you, I found the secret that would change my life forever. And here is what it is. The secret to wealth is income building, not just one stream of income working for your dead end job and your dead end boss. No, it's not that. We want to build income into our life, but all I needed was a plan. a
Mm,
way to make money while I slept and at the same time protecting my wealth. But that's when I bought my first property, which Cam's question was great. That's when I bought my first property, but I did everything wrong. I paid too much for the property, hired
okay.
a horrible property manager,
Okay.
got bad tenants who destroyed the property, allowed tenants to stay in the property too long, lost tens of thousands of dollars doing it the wrong way. But I did not let that stop me from retiring early with generational wealth. If I would just
Mm,
hung my head and said, "Oh, this doesn't work," I would not be here today. But
right.
the path to financial freedom, here's my path. Let me walk you through.
Okay.
2006, I flew to Ohio. I looked at the area, the properties, property managers, all that stuff. I took $17,000 in 2006. All that my wife had saved, we just got married like 6 months later. I said, "Hey, can I take all the money that you saved and buy real estate? It's not proven, but let me do it." And I eventually talked her into it, and it worked out well because year one, I bought one property.
Okay.
Year two, I bought two properties. Year three, I bought three properties. Year four, four more properties. Year five, five properties. And year six, bought four more properties. So 19 properties in 6 years, and then finally retired at 37 years old. And by
Let's
the time I
go.
was, there we
Congratulations
go.
first off. Congratulations first off, bro. That's badass.
Thanks, brother.
Okay.
By the time I was done, I created a system. That's what I remember. I said, I don't want to randomly do this. No, I want a system that would make me money automatically. Now I'm retired and travel the world. And I proved to myself that the system worked and I could duplicate it over and over again. So I did. Duplicated this over and over again. So now I personally invest in Ohio, Texas, Arizona, Indiana, and Tennessee.
Okay.
So I invest in these five different states, and my students, we invest all over the country because they're great places outside of where we live that we can invest. If you have a system, it will run it for, oops, I jumped, where we go? One, two, there we go. So now what about you? Could you retire early if you had $20,000 a month in cash flow and passive income coming in? Put a one in the chat if you could make, if you could retire if you had $20,000
Oh
a
yeah,
month in cash flow.
for sure.
Now, while you're putting one in the chat, let me tell you this. Some people have asked me, "Well, Dustin, how much money do you make in real estate?" I said, "Sorry." Go ahead. Awesome. Doug, Cam, Lori, thank you so much. And let's see, Dan, appreciate. So one, everybody should put it. If you have expenses over 20 grand, you got some really, really
Yeah,
big,
you do.
big expenses. Now, people ask me, "Well, Dustin, how much money do you actually make?" I'm like, "Well, number one, my wife will kill me if I tell anybody how much money we actually make. But let me give you a general idea. If you buy one property that makes you $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. If you buy 10 properties, that's $60,000 a year. That's literally life-changing money.
Right.
But if you had 20 properties, that's $120,000 a year at only making $500 a month. I have some properties making me 1,000, 2,000. I even have properties making me $3,000 a month.
Mm.
So just keep that in mind as we go forward. Now, if you have ever done it, or if you ever heard anybody that's been struggling with real estate, there's probably a reason why. They don't have enough money to invest. It's hard to find good deals, worried about losing money, lack of knowledge, not sure where to invest, tenants destroying the property, money pit, not having enough time, fearful of the market crashing. And the hard way, when I first got started, was so hard. And that's what we used to have to do. Now, with the system and everything that I've done and built into my life, now instead of all these other problems, we now have a system that we follow. But let me give you three myths, and then I'm going to jump into actually how to do this. Oh, Doug, your dad does text links. Awesome. That is so cool. You definitely should be learning from him. That is a very good way to do it. So let me give you three myths before I jump into tactically how to do it. So myth number one, that you have to be born with or inherit lots of money to invest or just have lots of money. 100% a myth. And I will, in this presentation, I'm going to walk you through exactly why that's not a myth. We buy properties with almost none of our own money. In fact, I personally know 20 different ways to get financing from other sources than me working a dead end job, saving up, 20% and buying so many other ways. In fact, we have properties that people give us their properties and we take over paying their mortgage and they're thankful. Like, "Oh, Dustin, thank you for taking this property because I just can't afford it." So
Amazing.
that's 100% myth. Myth number two, real estate takes a lot of time, stress, and problems. No, if you remember, I had four kids, full-time dead-end job. I had a business, I had a life, and I'm still investing in real estate. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to create these systems on this, literally on this presentation. I'm going to walk you through how to create these systems so you don't have that stress and you can do this in your spare time. Myth number 3, you have to have lots of contacts and experience managing properties, flipping, wholesaling, and other complicated techniques. No, you honestly don't. And in the end, what I'm going to do as I walk you through this entire process, you're going to realize that all these other complicated things, people just make complicated for no reason when you have a system and you get experts doing the work for you. None of these myths are true. Now, again, if you've been struggling, you need to remember this secret to investing. Here's the big secret, and you're not going to hear anybody who talks about real estate investing tell you this. Stop being an investor. When you think about an investor, just think about somebody, most people just buy stock and they just hope the value goes up.
Yeah.
Or a quote unquote investor buys a house and then hope the value goes up and then try to sell it. No, stop being an investor. Instead, become an income builder.
Yeah, it's almost like you're flipping the mindset.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Instead of thinking I'm just going to let my money just ride. No. This is a business that we're building. And here is the key. The key is buy and hold, not flipping, not wholesaling, not arbitrage, all these other fancy terms and all that stuff that people make up. No, it's buy and hold. And by the time I'm done, your mind is going to be blown at how simple, not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it,
Right.
But how simple it is. But buy and hold, and I will walk you through how to do it. Now, there are 3 secrets to real estate investing. The 3 secrets. Number 1, the proven strategy that busy professionals, busy families, busy stay-at-home moms that they use to build a real estate portfolio in just a few hours a week. Secret number 2, how to create an automatic business getting experts, literally experts, to do all the work for you and not even pay them until they make you money. I'll walk you through that too. Secret number 3, why complete beginners often succeed faster than real estate experts in real estate investing. Now, secret number 1, the proven strategy that real estate investors, they use to build a real estate portfolio in just a few hours a week. Here's one of my students. Her name's Kara. Super awesome lady. So she is a nurse in Texas, built her business in her spare time. And we turned her IRA into a self-directed IRA because she wanted her IRA to continue to grow, but wanted to not put it with the rich people in stocks, wanted to grow on her own in real estate. We used her IRA. She bought 2 homes. And now her IRA is growing as she buys more and more properties. Now she has 6 properties, growing to more and more. Secret number 2, how to create an automatic business, getting experts to do all the work for you. And the key is to build the business first. I said that just a few minutes ago. Right. We build the business first. We do not just invest randomly. No, we build the business. Now, let me show you. This is my student, Benjamin. He's a pastor up in Sacramento. When he started coaching me, he said, Dustin, I love ministering. I love being a pastor, but I know I can't do this forever. And I would like to make extra money because we don't have any money. My wife homeschools our kids. And so Benjamin, being a pastor, he started talking to me and he didn't have money. But as I was coaching him, we realized he had a property. I said, hey, you know that you can create with the equity, you already have equity. You can create a home equity line of credit and use that cash out of your property and then buy real estate. So what he did was, he took his HELOC, his home equity line of credit, $250,000. He used, I think, like $180,000 to buy a house in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. And then now that home is now free and clear. Remember, because he uses cash from his primary to buy a home in Georgia that now gets it rented, is making money, and then he refinances that house, pulls that cash back out, and pays off his home equity line of credit. And he could do it over and over and over again. And this is somebody who did not have any money. There's so many other ways outside of just a HELOC. They're just get you excited.
Yeah.
Secret number 3, why complete beginners often succeed faster than real estate experts. It's crazy. Just think about this. If you find a set of golf clubs at a yard sale and I want to start playing golf, you grab those golf clubs and then you go to the range or you go start playing golf. And for 5 years, you're playing golf. And your swing is doing okay. You're in like the 90s to 100s. You're like, I want to get coaching. Then, because you've already played for 5 years, you go get coaching. And the coach is like, oh, man, I have to help you to unlearn all the garbage that you've done. It would have been better if you just come with me from the very beginning. So this is why real estate investors who think that they're experts. No, what we need to do is then think like a beginner and have a blank mindset so that we can now be built in. Now, here's one of my students. Her name's Katrina. Katrina started coaching with me, busy mom, stay at home mom, and never invested. She had so many questions, and I helped her to build a business before she even looked at any properties because then she found experts. Experts found the properties. Experts inspected they fixed up the properties. They found the tenants that manage it. And then she used that money over and over again and bought 6 properties in just 2 years. Now, another thing I want you to realize, real estate works only if you know what you were doing. In fact, you remember when I said my property manager started stealing from me? Well, that definitely didn't show that it worked because I didn't know what I was doing. But only if you know what you're doing. In this presentation, I'm going to walk you through how to do it. Now, how do you invest in real estate with a full-time job and a full-time family? How do you buy real estate with little to no of your own hard-earned money? And how do you begin? How do beginners often succeed faster than experts? It is by building an automatic business that runs itself. Now, this is the first question I always get. Now, Dustin, what about those 2 a.m. phone calls from the tenants of plumbing leaking, all that sort of stuff? Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I never talk to my tenants. I have experts do all that. I don't even want the tenants to know who I am. But the one thing you got to realize too, on top of everything else, it's the easiest part is to buy the property. And that's how people get in trouble. Easiest part's to buy a property. All you do, you find a realtor and a mortgage broker and you put them together and you buy a property. That's the easiest part. The hard part is to make money every month and have your business run itself and continually make money while you sleep. Like buying the property, that's just the start. Then you have to own it for 20, 30, 50, 100 years and give it to your kids. You want to make sure you have all that dialed in before you even buy the property. Now, investing without a business, it's not automatic. You are personally answering those 2 a.m. phone calls. It's not efficient. You're potentially losing money. You have lots of evictions. You're hoping to get to good tenants, and you're praying that the tenants pay their rent. But when you build a business, then you have real estate agents find the deals for you and have the seller pay all their fees, get other expert contractors to fix the properties, have property managers find good tenants, use software to collect all the rents and do it all over and over again to the next property. And most investors fail because they do not know how to develop that automatic business. Like it works for you and grows for you. If you remember, the key to wealth is stop being an investor, become an income builder. Let me give you an example of what that means. You guys know what this is. AI created a little candy bar for me. So let me give you an example. Now, let's say you wanted to start a candy bar business, where you're buying and selling candy bars. Well, if you knew that all day, every day, you can buy a candy bar for 50 cents and then sell it for $1, you would say, I'm going to buy as many candy bars as I could because I'd make 50 cents. But here's the great thing. What if you did not even have 50 cents to buy that first candy bar, but it cost you 25 cents to borrow 50 cents? Well, you're out of pocket 75 cents. You still sell it for $1 and you make 25 cents every side. Hopefully that math is very simple for you to understand. Yeah. 50, 25, 75 cents total. And you sell it for $1, you make 25 cents. That's what real estate investing is like. But here's what you would not do. You would never buy the candy bar for $1 if you could sell it for $1 and hope that you're going to be able to sell it for $1.50 in 6 months from now or a year from now. You would not do that. You would never buy a candy bar for $2 and sell it for $1. You'd be losing money. Right. What we do is become income builders. And when we buy every single property, just like a candy bar is a piece of inventory in your business, same thing in your real estate investing. Every property you buy, it's not a property you'll live in. It's not a property you're going to fall in love with. It's a property that somebody else will love and they'll rent, and it's a piece of inventory in your business. Now, let me give you the step-by-step of what it is. So the business of real estate, from landlord, instead of pulling out your hair, talking to all the tenants, to then becoming an income builder. Now, what I would love for you is to have a portfolio. Let's say you had a portfolio of 20 properties where at average, you're making $1,000 a month from every property. Some are, $500, $600 a month. Some are $1,500 a month, which we'll get into in just a minute. But I would love to see you have that. But that's not just gross rents. That's cash flow from every property in your pocket. Now, there is an investor trap. I just talked about briefly the dreaded 2 a.m. phone calls. When you buy a property, you think you're an investor, but then the toilet clogs and your real estate, you're an expensive plumber. Basically, your time, you're going to go do all the plumbing and stuff. That's how you get trapped. When you build a business, instead of waking up at 2 a.m., you're going to wake up on Tuesday morning without an alarm clock, which is amazing, by the way. I have not had an alarm clock unless I'm flying somewhere at like 5 a.m. But
Yeah.
waking up without an alarm clock is the best thing in the world. Now,
Yeah.
waking up Tuesday morning, no alarm clock, you drink your coffee, you pull out your cell phone, and then you have notifications rolling in from your property manager saying, hey, rent's collected, or hey, I found a property. Would you want to buy it from a realtor? And cash flow doesn't buy things, it buys options and it
Mm.
buys your freedom. That's what we want, is to have cash flow. But here's the identity shift. Remember, the first one, stop being a job, start working a job instead of being an employee. You want to become a business owner investor. Now, this is the next shift. Instead of thinking that you're a landlord where you buy your property yourself and it's a second job, you're trading your time for rent checks and fixing toilets and asking, man, how do I do this? Instead, a business owner and an income builder builds a self-sustaining system that grows on its own, collects automatic cash flow, hires experts. So instead of asking, how do I do this? You start asking, who does this for me? Now, most investors grow in one direction. Sorry, investments. I love this. Most investments grow in one direction. You buy stock, you hope it goes up, and maybe you might get pennies in a dividend if it gives dividends. You just hope it goes up. But when you buy real estate, it's completely different. I'm going to give you the income builder strategy. You buy one property every single year. But let's just start with one property. You buy one $150,000 property over 30 years with a $15,000 initial capital. Remember, it doesn't have to be your money. We just have to have access to that, but 10% down. Now, if you're living on the coast, you're like, oh my goodness, people can buy homes for $150,000. Yes, they absolutely can. We're buying them all the time. But let me walk you through this. Now, one one direction versus six direction. This, if you put your money in stock market, you hope it goes up. 100% of your money, you cannot use any debt to like borrow money and like go to a bank and say, can I borrow some money to buy, Nvidia stock? Like, no way, we're not going to do that. Tax liability. You have the highest capital gains. You are taxed all to no end. But in real estate, growth vectors is 6 simultaneous income streams, what I'll show you in just a second. Leverage. You can use your money or others people's money and bake some money. You can borrow money to buy real estate. Debt servicing, it's 100%. That means 100% funded by the tenant. I'll say it this way. I don't pay my taxes. I don't pay my mortgage on any of my properties. I don't pay my insurance. I don't pay for my property managers. I don't pay for repairs. I don't pay any of that stuff. Meaning I don't have to get a job to pay those things. No, my tenants pay for all of those, and I make cash flow on top of that. Next one is tax liability. Here's the great thing. If you realize the government's out to get you, but they are out to help themselves, then you just figure out their rules that they play by, and then you play by their rules. It's so much better. I pay almost no money in taxes. Now, here's the 6 ways that real estate grows for you. Now, here's the first way. Passive income, the cash flow, like I just told you. If you had one property that made you $1,000 a month, time 12 months, out of 30 years, just quick, easy math. That's $12,000 a year that you're making over 30 years. That's $360,000. That's cash flow. That's the $1,000. But over 30 years, rents go up over time. I have properties making me $3,000 a month that I bought a long time ago. Now, keep that in mind. Way number 1, your cash flow on top of all your expenses, $360,000 over 30 years. So if you remember, you buy one property, $150,000 over 30 years, this is the cash flow on top of more as the rent goes up. Here's a property that I have. It's a short-term rental. It makes me $2,500 a month in cash flow. This property is amazing. It's a short-term rental, Airbnb. And so $2,500 a month in cash flow. This is after all the expenses. Now, here's the second way that you make money when you invest in real estate. Equity capture. Now, when you buy the property, we're investors. We do not pay top dollar for the property. In fact, you would never buy a candy bar for that dollar if you could only sell it for $1. That's not what we do. We buy it for less than the worth. So when you buy a property, you capture equity. We always try to capture 10 or 20% in equity. Give you a quick example. If they're selling it or the value is $150,000, we try to buy it for $130,000. That's $20,000 captured in equity right when we buy it. But the great thing is, it lowers our mortgage, which increases our income. And here is a property that I currently own. It equity capture when I bought it because it had needs some repairs, septic work, and all that sort of stuff. $100,000 right when I bought it because the seller's like, just take it from me. I can't take it anymore. I captured $100,000. Now, way number three, when you're buying one piece of property, forced appreciation. Well, you've seen those HGTV shows where you fix it up the property and make it worth more. Well, if you put in $15,000 and then in paint and like, let's say you get new landscaping, you get new carpeting, all that stuff, you fix it up. Well, then it's going to appraise for more. So you have more value. So if you bought it for $130,000, you put in $15,000, then it appraises for $180,000. Well, you're out of pocket $145,000. It appraises for 180. That's a lot. I can't even do the math off the top of my head. What is that? $35,000. There we go. Here's one property that I bought. So repair costs $35,000. Increased because of all the work you put in. I increased it by $115,000 the value. I forced the appreciation up. Remember the difference between $115,000 new value increase and the cost repairs, $80,000 I just made. Fourth way, this is amazing. And you've easily seen this. If you've been alive since 2020, the market appreciation. Here's something that is mind blowing. And if you look at history, it 100% happens. Every 15 years, real estate doubles in value. Let me say that one more time.
Yeah.
Every 15 years, real estate doubles in value. So if you buy $150,000 home today, in 15 years, it's worth $300,000. Then 15 years later after that, it's not less than that, or sorry, it's not 450, it's not doubled. It's doubled from 300. So now it's $600,000. So 300,000 doubled again is $600,000. That gain is $450,000 gain just by owning it over time. Here's a property that I have. I purchased for $135,000. The market value right now is $375. I think it might be up now. It might be over almost 400. Market appreciation $240,000. And remember, the tenant is paying for the mortgage, taxes, right, all that stuff. And now I have that property that's making me money and it's worth so much more. The fifth way, mortgage buy down. This is amazing. Your tenants pay off your mortgage for you.
Right.
Your interest, your principal, your taxes, your insurance, all that sort of stuff. Now, here is mind blowing. Let me give you this one right here. So all that debt is eliminated. Here's a property and I own I think 350 unit apartment complex. Purchased it for $32 million.
Jeez, Louise, Dustin. Jeez.
I know. We're very blessed. Yeah. Now I'm one of 4 total owners in the property, so it's not completely mine, but right, this is the principle is we borrowed, I think we raised 10 million and then we owe 22 million. But if you think about all that interest and principal, all of the tenants are paying off all of that right, mortgage and interest and everything. Right. And that is mortgage buy down, which I just showed you. Mortgage buy down, you don't even have to pay that out of your own pocket.
Right.
Here's one of the best ones. IRS tax shield. I pay almost no money in taxes, and it will be a whole nother seminar to walk you through all the tax strategies, but just realize this. I pay next to no money investing in real estate because the tax law and code is written for the rich because they become politicians and they own real estate. So they make laws to help them. And if you find out how this actually works, your mind's going to be blown. Hopefully I'm blowing your mind right now.
You are, bro.
Yes. So this is the mathematical truth of just one property. If you bought right now, $15,000, that's your 10% down payment. Let's say you borrowed it from HELOC or whatever. But in 30 years, that one property is now $1 million in total value. Let's start from the bottom right. Cash flow, $360,000. That's if rents never go up. So they will. You're making even more money. Equity capture, you capture 20 grand right when you buy it. Forced appreciation goes up $15,000. Then market appreciation, just over 30 years, it goes up $450,000. Mortgage buy down. That entire thing is paid for by the tenants, and you
Right.
make the cash flow on top of that. But here is how I turned 10 properties into 10 million. Now, again, I have 30 plus properties, so just realize that like this, I'm just kind of give you a little
Yeah.
tidbit. All you got to do is do it 10 times. If you buy one property a year and you do it 10 times, here it hopefully this is mine. Put a one in the chat if this is starting to be mind blowing.
Yep.
That over 30 years, this is the multiplier. One property gets you to $980,000. Then you have 10 properties. You just multiply that out. That's $10 million on top of the cash flow, which is what you're living on every single month. Realize that I don't work a job. I have a house, I have food, I have insurance, all that sort of for my family. I don't work a job. My tenants pay for all of that. And awesome, guys. I appreciate it. Putting a one in the chat now and give it to my kids. Unless I sell it, which I never will. I never sell anymore. In fact, many people, you might be yourself. I wish I never sold that house. Yes, exactly. Never sell because you will then give it to your kids and then stop being an investor, becoming an income builder. And this is how I'm gonna give me also the steps to get $1,000 a month from every property that you buy, or over the entire portfolio, you average $1,000. Here's the wealth escalator. The wealth escalator, $1,000 a month. So your first property at $1,000 a month, that is $12,000 a year. 5 properties is $60,000 a year. 10 properties is 120. 20 properties is $240,000 a year in generational wealth. But here are the 4 lanes that you are going to use to actually get that much cash flow. We all know about long-term rentals. Easy. Obviously, most people know about long-term rentals. I love boring money that comes in without me doing anything. It's so boring that I get a paycheck in my bank account and I love it. But it runs like a machine. I personally like 80% of my portfolio in long-term because it's stable. It's great. Now the next one, short-term. That is Airbnb, VRBO, where people are renting out per month, but your income grows very much. So $2,000 a month is what you should be shooting for with a short-term rental. Next one is a midterm rental, 30, 60, 90 days, traveling executives, traveling nurses, all that sort of businesses. They'll, excuse me, $1,500 a month monthly that you should be making. Little more effort, but for both short-term and midterm, meaning effort of changing out the property, cleaning it, and all that stuff when people leave. Here's another growing one. And it's really going to start taking off because so unaffordable, like housing is so unaffordable. Co-living. Co-living is where people rent by the room. And you know what is this generation right now, was a Gen Z or whatever. The Gen Zs, they're like, well, I guess I'm never going to own. I guess I just have to rent a room. You rent by the room and you make so much more money. Now there's more effort involved, but you make so much more. So those are the 4 ways, lanes. Now, remember, all this stuff, I want you to realize what one person can do, another person can do. I've showed you that I've coached thousands of people, and this is something that I've done over and over again. Now, the 3 lessons that we love is to help people learn how to build your business the right way. Foundational. Get it right from the very beginning. Lesson number 2, how to automate your cash flow so that you get experts doing it for you, and then how to scale. Scaling is a key word because most landlords can't scale because they're doing all the work themselves. Scale to 20 properties fast. And this is what we do at Master Passive Income. But this is the future of passive income: is find, build, and scale. And I actually, because I jumped on this, I thought, you know what, let me do something for you guys. Some of you might have questions that are going to be more specific to you that you might not want to ask on here. But we do also do coaching. I've been coaching like thousands of people now for 10 years. And if you want a completely free call where I'm going to walk you through all this sort of stuff, give you your roadmap, see where you are, and basically just jump on a call with you. If you don't mind, Cam, I'll just give this to everybody.
Yeah.
We can even throw this in the chat. Grab a time. It's literally on my calendar. I'm going to open up. Let me put this inside there. I'll put it inside the chat. I'm going to open up Monday and Tuesday, which I never do, but because Cam's awesome and brought me on. In fact, for 10 years, Monday and Tuesday, there's nothing on my calendar. It's literally me having a 4-day weekend and Friday. I even take Fridays off. So I only work Wednesdays and Thursdays. But I said, you know what? I want to help everybody out. I'm going to open up my calendar. And so, but the one thing I do request, because I'm going to give you this entire, that basically I'm walking you through every little thing, because I know you're going to have great questions that are going to get you the next step. If you do join, or if you do grab a time, show up. That's the only thing I ask. Because I literally would just be playing golf or hang out with my kids or going to the gym, but I'm opening up the time. If you do, just show up, and your mind's gonna be blown, because I'm gonna walk you through every single step. So just grab a time. I have Monday and Tuesday open. I'm gonna give you that time. So I know we got lots and lots of questions, but this call is only good for Monday and Tuesday. I'm gonna open that up because I have nothing else on my calendar. But we have so many questions. I bet you guys have lots of questions. Cam, I know you got lots of questions. This is getting close. Like, this is the end of the presentation. Now, Q&A. How can I help you guys? But definitely grab your time here.
Okay. Yeah, this is cool. Okay. You're actually coming across at a very unique time. Just due to the fact that, we're constantly growing in Wisedome in and of itself, but I'm coming into possibly a scenario where, I win one of my lawsuits, my federal rights lawsuits. And with that being said, like next month I have a settlement conference, right? So say for instance, let's say for instance I come into, a little bit of money, and let's say I have $100,000 that I have ready to not necessarily invest, but to build an income, like he's been stating today. What would be the most strategic way to utilize that $100,000 that I was to come into?
Mm, okay. So if it's now here's my suggestion. Now, before we get into like building businesses, because I love businesses. And so in fact, even though I'm an investor, I'm a business owner, like I shared. Having a business is amazing, but I love having a business that automatically and right away starts making money. So if I, oh, like, yes, this is if I were in your shoes and I did invest in real estate, didn't have anything that was, but all of a sudden I got $100,000. The first thing I would do is I would use that. Well, here's a lot of students, they ask the question, Dustin, should I do this or this or this? Like they in their mind, they think of a few different options, and they think that word or. Should I use all that money to buy a house completely without a mortgage? Or should I use that money for a down payment? Or should I use that money to invest in this, that, or they have that word or. My thought is, and I teach them, get rid of that word or out of your mind. Get in your mind the word and. And the reason why I say and is because no matter what deal comes your way, meaning, let's say you have a property. It's like, honestly, one of my students just bought an $85,000 house, just $85,000. It rents for like $1,100, and they're using their cash to buy it outright, $85,000. But that's a great deal. But what if you didn't have that? You want to use that as a down payment. So here's what I would suggest. I would not buy apartment complexes. I would not invest my money in somebody else's deal. First thing I would do is I would look for a great city that I could build a business. And Cam, I could walk you through. And actually, what I could even do, no, let me even do this. I'm going to walk everybody through how I find properties, how I use software to find properties, and where I invest. But let me answer your question. Then I can get everything set up and I can walk you guys through how to do it.
Okay.
But I would use that money as a down payment on a property that I find. But every deal is going to be different. We just need to be open to using that. But once you buy one property that's making you, let's say, $500 a month, and that's cash flow coming in, that's getting that flywheel or that big money ball rolling in 30 years, turning into $10 million. So I would buy a $150,000 house, and I would use 10% of that, $15,000, to buy one. If I were to give you like a perfect scenario,
Yeah.
you have $100,000, I would use that as many times over. What's 15 out
Yeah,
of?
I mean, that's what I
how
was
many
thinking
properties
too.
would
I
you
was just like, I would, buy multiple properties rather than just
Yes.
going out and buying a whole property or putting, a whole bunch down to get my mortgage low for maybe a long-term house than to just buy a whole bunch of properties. That's what
Here's
I
what
was.
I would do. I
Yeah.
would buy 7 properties that I'm spending about $15,000 in a down payment. That's making me a minimum of $500 a month.
Yeah.
And then 7 properties. What is that? $3,500 a month
Yeah.
in cash flow.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking of it. Because honestly, something like this could, Wisedome, as far as our Discord is concerned, we have over 1,000 members in Discord alone, right? Um, and so I would like to, encompass this to have everybody benefit from, first off, of course, the law side of being able to learn and to really stand on one's knowing as far as, we comprehend the aspect, or we comprehend the knowing that we are creations of the creator. So we come first, right? Because we don't harm people, we don't commit crimes, we're good, upstanding moral Americans. Um, and I don't know if Troy's in a position to read off what an American is. Troy, are you available to read that off real quick just to bring that in, just because I love it so much? Yes or no? No? Yes? Maybe? Maybe not. Um, no. Okay, cool. But it's okay. Anyways, yeah, what I would like to do is kind of like you say on the serving realm side of it, is I want to benefit as many people as I can too. You stated early on the why. Why am I doing this? Um, it's not just for myself. Of course, I want to make sure that my kids are taken care of, but I also want to help other people in life generally, not just with knowledge, not with just empowerment, but also in the financial realm as well. And so that's why I'm really excited to have you on today, because I am coming into a position to be able to help people like you're helping people. And
Hey,
so to
Bobby.
establish and
No, not yet.
and to be able to establish that assistance to others is perfect for you to come on today. So that's kind of where my mindset is, and maybe
Yeah.
thinking on how we can again mastermind to come together to really to do something big here. At least
I
on our
love
side
it.
with you. So
Yeah, and you guys remember my goal is to help 1 million people to invest in real estate, because honestly, I make my money through real estate. I love that I don't have to even think about money coming in from anything else because I have real estate, and it's now here's a fun way to say it. And Cam, I know you are definitely feeling this too. So when I accomplish something like buying my first property, or like Cam, you're teaching people how to accomplish, getting a settlement, or winning in court and all that sort of stuff. So when you do it yourself, when I bought my first property, it was a great accomplishment, but I felt like I needed more accomplishments. And when I quit my job, it was another great accomplishment, but I felt like I needed more. I did not feel fulfilled. Let me say that one more time. I did not feel fulfilled in my life. When I helped my first student buy their first property, that is when I felt fulfilled. It wasn't my accomplishment, it was theirs, but I helped another human being get what they most wanted in life. And then when my students quit their job and become financially independent, I feel like king of the world. I'm like, oh my goodness, look at what I've been blessed to be able to do for people. Let me let me go ahead
yeah,
and share. Do you
that
guys mind if I walk you through good cities, how to find properties, all that sort of stuff? You guys mind if I literally
no,
coach you
yeah.
guys?
Please do. And like you say, yeah, the fulfillment is not much so much for yourself, but to see like for me, example, people will come to me with stress and just like they're down, they're in the worst mood, they feel like they have all of this pressure that's coming against them, right? And after going through a meeting with me, it's like at the very end, they're like, dude, like I totally, so I feel you on that, because when people are getting the success, that is the most rewarding thing for me. Like not just for myself, but for other people. So yeah, I'm
I love it.
100% with you.
Now let me I want oh sorry, Cam. I think are there any questions? Because I'm gonna walk you through. So we
Maybe
use
so.
Zillow. We yeah. So what questions? Why I'm gonna get this all set up, but let's
I
go ahead
think
and answer
Dan. I think
questions.
Dan had one for sure. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've gone through a process called revocation of election, which takes me out of being income taxpayer at the federal level. So I don't know if you know about that, Dustin,
I
but
don't. That sounds awesome.
I would be interested to know, do you run these things through a trust? Uh, how do you structure this business?
Amazing question. So there's a couple things. Number one, getting out of taxes. 100%. Like I hate taxes. Taxes are stealing from people, especially when the politicians waste it on whatever they on themselves. And anyways, I'll get on a rant on that. But so when I think about the trust and LLCs and all that sort of stuff, there's two things: taxes and then liability, or my third one would be protection, protecting your assets. And so here is the I'm going to give you a high level of how I do all of my asset protection and tax. It's not avoidance because I just follow the rules. So what I do is every property that I buy, has its own trust. So the property is in a trust. Other way, people say buy that property, put it in an LLC, which is again good. They're both good ways, but I like having the property in a trust and then having the beneficiary be an LLC. That's the operating company, the management company over all the properties. And then I have another trust on top of that, which is I call it our dynasty trust. This is our family trust that nobody knows about, nobody sees, but that now owns the property management or the management company. But that's how I do it. That's what I hired lawyers and accountants, and that's like their number one way. Other way is having your LLC, and your LLC owns the properties. Then you have your trust owning the LLC. There's a lot of nuances on how to do this, but in the end, it's tax avoidance or legally tax avoidance, liability protection, and asset protection, so nobody can take it from you. But that's something we cover in everything we do.
That's a good answer because, yeah, that's the exact same thing I pretty much gave him as well. Just quickly in the comments was like the trust. That's the way to protect it. Yeah, as far as you being out of through the revocation of election in and of
Well, the
itself.
biggest thing with asset protection is that you want to make sure that lawyers cannot find what you have. And trust, if they're individual trusts, like let's say you buy a house, number one Happy Street. Number one Happy Street, that's the number one Happy Street trust. And you have 8492 Carson Street or whatever trust. They're not going to know that they're connected at all. If you have your, let's say, Cam Family Trust, or sorry, Cam Family LLC or Cam Family Trust on every single one, then they're going to know, oh, I can piece all these together and then I could go after all of them. If they don't even know what's there, that's the first huge step in the right direction.
Yep, most definitely. There's a question in the chat. It's coming from Todd. Todd asks, should a person buy now or wait until the market bottoms?
Ooh, okay. I love this question because I have an amazing answer for you. Here's the answer. We do not wait to buy real estate. We buy real estate and then we wait. Because if you wait for whatever it is, in fact, I thought in 2009, like when Hillary Clinton and Trump were first going 2018, was it 17, 18, I was like, hey, I think the economy is going to crash, but I kept buying and I did not wait because I love this quote. Well, number one, I'll say it one more time. We do not wait to buy real estate. We buy real estate and then we wait because over time you're going to make so much more money. But here is I think it might be a Chinese proverb, but let me ask you a question. When is the best time to plant a tree? Go ahead and type in the chat. When is the best time to plant a tree? Now, Dan says now. Okay. When is the best time? Go ahead. Somebody else. Now, today. Good. Okay. Anybody else? Brian, ZK, now. So I'm going to be straightforward. You're wrong. The best time. There we go, Troy. 10 years. I say 20 years ago. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. But when's the next best time? The next best time is today. That's the second best time is today because you do not, trust me, in 20 years, you do not want to be looking back in your life and say, oh man, I was on this call with Cam. He does all this awesome stuff against sovereignty, brought Dustin on. I should have invested in real estate 20 years ago. No, no, no. You don't want to be that. You want to think 20 years from now, I'm so glad I listened to Cam. Everything Cam taught me is what I do. But Dustin came on and I started buying real estate. I'm so glad I did it 20 years ago. That's what you want to be thinking 20 years from now. Because I'm looking now, I started investing in 2006. This is 2026 now. I make so much money because I started back then. It's now is the next best time to invest.
Okay, since we're talking about trees, I want to ask you one quick question. When the wind blows, do you want to be a strong oak or a bamboo?
Oh, goodness gracious. Um, I'm a, they're both good. I know I don't have a good answer other than I'm probably gonna I'm much more of a strong, sturdy type of person, even though I know bamboo's good. I'm gonna go with oak just because I like a strong,
Okay,
sturdy
but
type of thing.
when the wind blows, the oak's gonna break and the bamboo's just gonna sway.
It's gonna sway. There you go.
You
There
know,
you go.
so it's kind of like it's kind of like not again. This just goes to both you and to our situation is that sometimes you need to sway, right? Go with the flow of things. So it's kind of like instead of being so strong to saying I'm going to wait till the market
Oh yeah,
collapses or falls, go ahead and do a different direction to where you're actually I'm going to go ahead and do something now, right? So,
absolutely.
yeah, it's all about the times. Dan, you got another question? Go ahead, brother.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was wondering, do you ever buy property and then put like a small house on it? Because I have a little piece
Like
of.
ADU, additional dwelling unit. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Now,
So,
the nuance of it is obviously the city and county, are they going to allow it? But then also the building, and you just can make sure that as a business the numbers pencil out, meaning how much it's going to cost to build, how much that mortgage is going to be, and then with that mortgage, taxes, insurance, can I rent it out? That's going to make me money on top of that. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Now, let me jump. You mind if I guys literally show you guys great areas and how to find properties and how to
Yeah,
analyze? Can I show you guys all that
yeah,
stuff?
please. Yes.
Awesome. 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 Okay, here is, let me share my screen. So there are tons of good sites that you can find properties, but I'm going to share one that this site is really good. Let's see. Here we go. So Zillow is a very good site that I've used. I'm going to give you a couple things. Well, that's not it. So one city right now that is doing really well is Birmingham. Let me take this off. Let me go ahead. I'm going to start from this is literally what I coach. This is what I coach all my students. So I'm going to walk you through. Let's change this down. Walk you through all this. I show my students. Let me get rid of some of these. Mm-mm. So I want. There's probably a fast reset all filter. Maybe that's what it is. There we go. Boom. Okay. So there's two things that we're going to utilize right now. Is one is Zillow, but here is another one. I'm going to give it to you guys completely for free. This is the software that I created. So here is, we're literally going to use this software right now to analyze, to literally do everything. And here's the great, let me put this in the chat. So here is in the chat, and you go ahead and create your account completely for free. It will always be free. Now you can upgrade if you want more bells and whistles and all that sort of stuff. But what we're going to do today, you're going to be able to utilize all of this stuff. And this is what I wish I had 20 years ago that would have saved me thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of $20,000. And now I built it for myself. I built it because I'm an investor. That's what I do. And so I built this entire thing for myself. But go ahead and so if you click on this get your free account button right there, get your completely free account. But the great thing would be is if you're doing this right now, if you're driving the car and all that sort of stuff, I completely get it. Meaning it's going to be hard for you to do this at the exact same time as me. But I do this with my students. We analyze properties together. I share every single step of how to do it. But get your free account. If you want to upgrade, obviously, please do, but you don't have to. There's no credit cards, all that sort of stuff. So here is what the site looks like that we're going to be utilizing as our portfolio manager. And basically think of everything that we need to do as an investor is inside of here. Oh, one thing is if you're coming on late, definitely grab, let me put that link one more time. Because you guys are part of Cam's community, I want to give you guys literally my time when I don't ever give my time up, but I want to help you guys one more little step. So the link is in the chat. Yeah, Monday and Tuesday, grab a time. I know a few people already have, so I can't wait to just show up. Obviously, if you grab a time, just show up. If you already grabbed a time, I appreciate it. Can't wait to get you going. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Let's jump right into it. Number one, get your income builder app account right now. But let me scroll out. So this is Zillow. Many people have already seen Zillow, but what Zillow does is it shows you the properties that are listed for sale. Now, if I zoom out, you can see obviously you got the entire United States. Um, what I've found, the coastlines are going to be a lot more expensive, a little harder to make money. But where my students are finding really great places to invest are in the Midwest right here. All these areas. Now, what I love, I see these dots, and remember, we're business owners. These are properties. We think of them as inventory for our business. Now, if you're going to be taking any notes, here's the criteria that we use as investors. Obviously, we want this one to be for sale, and then the price. I don't want to have, I don't want to have $1 million mortgage and only may make it $500 a month. I don't want that. So let's go with $200,000. And let me see, what's this? We'll do it 50. We want it above 50,000. You can buy cheaper ones. You're gonna have to a lot of work to fix up. Now, I love 3 bedroom, and you can do 2 bathroom, but I say it if you're in the Midwest, lots of houses only have one, so we could start with one and move up to two. But that's our cookie cutter type home. But one other thing, I hate townhomes. Multifamily's fine when we don't want to do that. Once you are the next level, which on the call, and the link is in the chat for you to jump on a call with me, I'm going to show you, here are the 4 different levels. And the reason why Cam and I get along so well, we have the same idea. So first is the foundation. Next is acceleration. Next is liberation. And the last step is sovereignty. It's literally, that's what I've called it for many years now. And so these 4 different levels, I'm going to walk you through on this call. So grab a link. But multifamily is when you get into liberation, into sovereignty. So let's drop out all of these, and then we're just going to have houses. Okay. Now I'm going to go to other filters, and I'm going to get rid of coming soon, Zillow preview. These are I don't want new construction. I don't. If you're getting started, don't worry about auctions. If you're already an investor, 30 properties, then go with auctions, because it's going to take time.
Okay.
Minimum square feet. I don't buy anything less than 1,250 square feet because I want families. Really want families to be inside there. And so let's go ahead and hit apply. Now look at all these beautiful dots. These are amazing. This is basically inventory for us as real estate investors to find properties. Now you might be thinking, well, Dustin, how do I know which one? How do I know what area? So as I zoom in, see, watch me kind of zoom in just a little bit. You can see all the dots repopulate. You get more and more dots. But let me say, I'm going to find an area that I haven't actually, I love doing this for my students. Like, I haven't actually invested here. And so what I'm doing, I'm scrolling around. I start looking for big accumulation of dots. Like here, this, what is this? St. James area. There's not a lot of dots there. So if you build an entire business, it's going to be hard to find property managers because there are very few properties there. But oh, look at all these dots right here in St. Louis. There's a lot of dots right there that keep populating. Oh, there's a lot of dots. Well, that's a lot of inventory. Let me scroll out. Let me go to see. Okay, Springfield, not as many, but oh, there's a little bit more right here. That's pretty decent. Let me scroll them out. So hopefully this is making sense. Like, I'm looking for big population areas of cities in good states that I'm not going to have to worry about the government saying, hey, no, let the squatters sit in there for 10 years. But here's another city that's pretty decent. Look at all these dots. Okay, now once I find a city, we can even start with Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee is a decent area. I have lots of students investing in Memphis. So here is the next thing. Once I grab an area, what I start doing is I look at the properties. And I start looking at these types of homes. There's so many dots here. Now you might be thinking, well, Dustin, how do I know? Like this one, 129,000, it looks nice. Let me click on this one. This one looks nice. How do I know if it's going to be a good property or not? I'll show you. This is going to be awesome. Number one, your property manager. They are going to be the ones that are going to tell you if it's a bad area. They live there. Like, I live in Tennessee. I live in Nashville. So I have no clue about Memphis, or even the other 5 states that I invest. I have no clue about that area. But who does? Experts that live in that area, that do this work all the time. We find them and we hire them. Now, this Memphis property looks pretty decent. And I scroll down. Hey, it fits our criteria. And then let me scroll down a little bit more. That's good. What I'd love to, I go right down and I look at how much it could rent for. Oh, hey, this might not be a bad property. Now, Zillow does a decent job, and it tells you a decent amount of rent and what the estimate value is. And so let me scroll down just a little bit more. I look at the price history. Here's the price history, and we can see, it was sold for 2006, and now they're trying to sell it again. Wow, they lost a lot of money. They're trying to get rid of it for some reason. It could be good, it could be bad. I have no clue. That's why I would call my property manager. Tell me about this area. Am I going to get shot, or are you going to get shot there? Like, maybe we shouldn't buy it. We don't know. But let's just analyze this property right now. Here's the amazing. I created this software, and if you haven't got this software yet, get your free account. So the link is in the description. It's incomebuilder.io. Let's see, there it is. So just grab your free account. And here is what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to use my software that does all this work for you in like a matter of seconds. So here's the property that I want to buy. I'm going to copy this. I can even just type it in. So if I go to Income Builder, let's see, I might get rid of this. For financial freedom, I probably should call it financial sovereignty, right, Cam? Instead of financial freedom, financial sovereignty. That's what we probably should do. But here is the financial freedom goal tracker for you. So what you do is, let's say I know that let's say I need $25,000 a month. Then you can see that you haven't, like, this is a a way for you to see, I want to build income into my life. I need $25,000 a month. If you do, you do. But I'm already at 19.2 or, $19,000. I need to build more. So it's a tracker and everything here is all connected. Now let's analyze properties. This is going to be so much fun. I love this. Now in this deal analyzer, we have 3 different analyzers. If you want to flip properties, we have that analyzer for you. Now, before I get ahead. So if you click new analysis, let me do that one more time. So up here in the top right, new analysis. There's long-term rental. That's different criteria for a mid-term or short-term rental and different criteria for a flip type of property. Now let's go into long-term rental. Here's amazing thing. Everything is done for you. So I'm just going to paste in the address. So this is the address and boom, pops up. Has all the city. That's all I had to do and hit next. Then if you purchase price, right now they are asking $129. But remember, I told you this earlier. We're real estate investors. We do not overpay for properties. We capture equity. So it's $129. Let's say we buy for $109. There we go, 109 market value. And I was looking at Zillow. If I scroll down, sorry for fast scrolling on you. 124,000. That's what Zillow is saying. 124. So let's say 124,000. There we go. One more. Now, down payment. Let's say we want to put 10%. Like Cam, let's say this is one you're buying. Let's put 10% down. 10% down would only be, let's say $10,000, maybe $11,000. Then closing costs. We do an average, let's say, 2 to 5.5%. This is average. You're going to have to do your own due diligence on everything, make sure it's right. Interest rate, that's pretty decent interest rate right now, 6.0. 30-year term, long-term rental, perfect. Now hit next. Property taxes. See, all this stuff is filled in for you, but you have to do your own due diligence. So what I do, property taxes per year. I'm going to go back to here. Zillow actually is awesome. Property taxes. This is this is weird. Why did it jump? Oh, I think I see why. So this takes the tax roll, and you see these last 2 years, nobody paid it for some reason. So I think this is a lot of taxes. I've never seen it taxed that high. I want to say, if I were to guess, an estimated guess, I would say probably about $1,200 is what I would say is a good average tax. But then I would even call a realtor and say, realtor, tell me exactly how much tax, or call the assessor's office. So I don't think it's this, like, that's just crazy. Because I know my students invest here, but let's just do 1,200 just to be safe. And insurance per year, that's a little low. I'm going to say $700 a year per taxes. That's not for interest. Rehab costs. Here we can do this. I'm going to scroll up here and say the pictures look pretty decent, don't they? I mean, they might need a cleaning, like this flooring might be a little fixed up, or
maybe some touch-up paint,
Yeah, I mean, but it's not bad at all. This is a pretty decent property. Yeah, some here and there. Like handyman could get in there and do it. Let's say let's be generous and let's say $2,500. $2,500, that could easily be done. A maintenance factor is the maintenance of how much it would cost per year that we're going to have to fix it up, and actually per month, and then obviously over the year. So we're going to set aside 5% of this $1,200 a month. There you go. Click next. Now, what's the monthly rent? Remember, go back to Zillow. Zillow's great. Let me go back to this listing. You guys remember what it was? Was it there we go. The rent estimate. Now, again, your property manager is the expert. This is just helping us to then say, property manager, can you look into this more for us and see how much it would rent? So I'm going to go 13.35. That's what Zillow says. There we go. Vacancy rate. Vacancy rate meaning how much out of the entire year will it not be rented? And so 5% is on average. I think it's going to be a little better because we rent it for a little bit less than it's worth. Meaning rents are usually higher. I think it's probably about $1,400 for this property. It'd be fine. Property management. I know a property manager, instead of 10%, which is about $130 a month, they're charging, I want to say it was $75 a month. So let's put it down to, let's say 6.5%. There we go. And I saved the analysis. Great. And then it is doing all of the calculations, all of everything for you. And it even has a green light and red light system that I was like, we have to have this because I want people to not even guess. Does it meet a criteria? So look, we have all this down here of all this information that's already all put in. We just put in a couple things. We can keep all of our documents in here, like our deed, our property management agreement, our leases, put all of the notes in here, all the history of everything. But now, here's what you want to look at. This is going to be fun. Cash flow. This cash flow, the reason why it's a red, let me go back up into, nope, not right there. If I go, where is it at? Oh, sorry, click there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to open up this settings function and look. Everybody's going to have their own criteria because you might be different than me. I say that I want a certain amount of cash flow. So let's say I need a total of $650 a month in cash flow. That's our criteria, which the system remembers, and it'll try to help you hit that. But let's say you know what? It's a long-term property. I want to make sure I'm making at least $350 a month in cash flow, minimum equity capture, like all these things you could change and hit save. Now it's saved, and we go back to the properties, and then I'm going to look at, oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Which one was that? Was it this one right here? Yeah, Memphis right there. So now you see how it's green light because I made my criteria different. Now you can change it however you want, but you can see all of these calculations have been done for you. Now here's a great thing. I'm going to click view report. This report gives you well, number one, I'm not a math person. I'm not a numbers person at all. So I'm so glad this does it for me. I'm just going to quickly scroll through all of these numbers, all these charts, this cap rate, 1% rule, cash on cash return, projections. Like it has all this stuff done for you. And you only put in like 5 different little numbers, it does all of this for you. Now, here's another amazing thing. When we go out and get private money, remember I told you we buy properties with none of our own money. So we have other investors that want a good, let's say they want 7% return. Well, I borrow that money from them. And this is what I use. I hit this share analysis button and I click that button. And then it's going to create this analysis that I can then send it to anybody. So I'm going to copy. See, I click that button and here's the link. I'm going to copy that link. Let me do this. I'm going to put this in the chat. I'm going to put that in the chat. Everybody click on that link and you'll see, and you don't have to create an account or anything. This is a full report that you can give to anybody as an investor and say, check out this deal. Isn't this deal amazing? And they have all the numbers done for them automatically that they can then go through and look at the entire thing. Now,
and this is what's kind of important too, because you can literally start off with no money and make a deal happen. So for anybody sitting here now, if you're not realizing it, what he's bringing forth to you is that you just have to utilize the tools that are in front of you to make deals happen. For you not only to receive income, but for others to make income as well without no cash needed up front. Essentially, all that he's saying right here, like homeboy just laid it down, like I can see it. I'm seeing it. I'm like, what? Yeah. So this is awesome, Dustin. Thank you, bro, so much.
Love it.
Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you for sharing that. Now, here's the next thing. So if I go back into, so this is the analysis of the report or of the property, but here's that's just the start, all the analysis. Like that is just the start of you running a business. We have so many other things. I'm going to walk you through how this goes to build you income. Remember, we're income builders. That's why I named my company Income Builder. I'm going to now click this button and I'm going to click add to portfolio as if, well, yeah, I don't need to show you something up there. Well, let me show you. So let's say we're putting in offers. I just analyzed this property. I'm going to drag and drop this one into active deals because I'm now talking to a realtor. We're analyzing the property. My property manager is looking at. I put an offer and we get under contract. This is active deal. We haven't actually bought it yet. As soon as we close, that's when I click this button and move to. Oh, sorry, I got to go in. Probably should. There we go. Click add to portfolio. That means I now own it. And now changes. Oh, before I do that, let me show you. So here I have, let's see, cash flow is $19.2 thousand. Now I'm going to click on that button, and it's so yeah, monthly cash flow right there. It's now going to update everything because let's say I did buy it. It puts it into my portfolio. I click that button, add the portfolio. Yes, this is now something I own as an asset that's making me money. Now it's in my portfolio. Boom. It moves it into the properties. And while it's loading all this stuff up, if I go back to the dashboard, you can see my cash flow has gone up. It's helping me reach my goal. Because remember, I want you to be financially sovereign. And so that's our goal. Maybe your goal is I need $8,000 a month. Okay, we can work towards that. Now, into the properties. Now, analyzers amazing. But once you get into the property level, that's when we really start seeing the everything amazing about the system. before I do that, I'm not going to use this one because I haven't filled it out yet. But let me go back and I'll find another one. I think that I've already filled out. Oh, I think this one might be good. Okay, this one, yeah, this one's not bad. Okay, so I filled out some good stuff in here. So this is what property, let's say you bought this property, you have your purchase price, you have the market value, you have your loan balance. Well, obviously you can update monthly cash flow, equity that you have in the property, and all this is being tracked for you. The great thing too, let's say you got tenants, you have your tenants in there. You're seeing if they're paying, everything's tracked for you. Your actions, like we have tasks that you can give yourself. You can hit plus button and add a task like, hey, make sure you now get new insurance, because every year we check on our insurance so we can hopefully save money there, because insurance is a ripoff in my opinion. So everything inside there, you store all your documents right here. So if I click on this document right here, there we go. This is a document that I have. So instead of having Google Sheets Google or Dropbox, or you have everything everywhere, which is what I had. Whoops, sorry, let me go back to the property. Now everything's stored in one place. And then we even have all of our contacts. This is gold for me because I have so many contacts. I invest in 5 different states. And so I want to make sure which property, because I've got so many contacts. How do I know which person to call? I used to just scroll. Okay, who is it? Who is on my phone? Just keep scrolling through all the contacts. Now they're all here. And you can even just, if we have an app that's coming out, I think in next month, push the button and it actually calls them up. It has all the status of everything. But this is just getting the start of you running your portfolio. Then all of our tasks are lined out here. All of our documents that are stored for every single property, from deeds and agreements, all your contacts. Here's your list of contacts. Here's another great thing, accounting. All your accounting is done here, that all your transactions are brought in. You have reports that you literally just push a button and give it to your accountant. Say, hey, do my taxes. Here's what it is. And so all your accounting is done here, and all your reports are from cash flow, rent roll, income statement, all this stuff. And then here's another great thing, direct mail. You can even find properties that are off market. It's a little higher level. If you're like more advanced, not advanced, like if you really get into it, I can coach you through how to do all this. But this is how we take one property like this. You guys mind if I do one more?
Yeah, for sure. And also, what I wanted to do is I wanted to see if abundance. I know that you're in here, abundance alignment. I wanted to see maybe if you wanted to just share maybe your situation on what you might be doing with your home, to see if something like this would fit, to help benefit you rather than not benefit you on the other side. But go
Explain
ahead,
that a little
Dustin.
bit more. Like help me flesh that out. What do
Well,
you
I
mean?
don't know. I don't know if she wants to go through it. So let me make sure first, and then we can go
Okay,
in.
I'll walk through. I'll just do one more so that everybody can see it, and then give you a little bit of time. Okay, so let's look and let's find another property. Okay, here's $179,000. This property looks pretty decent. Photos look okay. Let me add this one. I'm going to analyze this one. So if I go back into Income Builder, I'm going to go back into Deal Analyzer and New Analysis, Long-Term Rental, and there we go. Paste that one in there. Good. Now you can watch how fast it is. So I click a button, purchase price. What was it? It was 179, but we're going to capture equity. So let's say we buy it for 150. And then market value after repairs, go back here, scroll down. Sorry for the fast scrolling. 174. That's not bad. So 174, 200 down payment. Let's say put 10% down. Now, if you put more down payment, you're going to have a more cash flow because it's a higher down payment, lower mortgage. Let me just click next. Property taxes, insurance. That's actually not bad. Let's put renovation costs 2,500 because it looks pretty decent. And then monthly rent. What's the monthly rent? 1526. That's actually pretty good. Pretty close. 1526. And then we're going to put this down to 6%. There we go. So what we're looking, I'm glad I just did this because I have one more thing I want to show you. So you might be thinking here, hey, Dustin, that's not enough cash flow. The way you get your cash flow up, and this is why I created Income Builder, we want to build that income. The way you get your cash flow up is you look at your expenses, because you cannot automatically, I want to rent for 2,000 and just get somebody in there. You can't do that. It's a fixed, like the rental amounts is what people will pay. But what you can change is your mortgage. That's the biggest expense. So I'm going to say my monthly, where's that? There we go. We have all this right here. So our monthly principal and interest 809. So how we do this is instead of $150,000, we know now. Oh, I'll say it this way. Realtors will say, hey, the average comps on this property, which means comparable sales, are $175,000. So that's how much it's worth. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm an investor. You want to know how much it's worth? It's worth what I can pay and still make the cash flow that I want. So I'm going to drop it down to $140,000. That's the max I want to pay for it. Hit OK. And then let's see what the adjustment is. So it's 336 now. Now it's 390. So now it fits our criteria. That's what I'm talking about, building income, looking at it like a business. And this whole analysis is all done for you. And then we have put in our portfolio, then we do all the accounting and all that good stuff. All right, Cam, what do you got
This
for
is
me?
this is crazy, bro. I'm so excited that you came through, and I can tell your excitement about this income builder. I've already signed up. I've already got me an account. That's for sure, because I'm definitely going to be looking into how to build deals, how to make things align up to where I have green check marks all the way across. I even noticed as you were tinkering around, you even had an option to get financing, right? So it's
Oh, yeah,
almost
I'll
like
click that real quick. Resources. And so we have now, I will tell you this. I've been doing this for 20 plus years, investing. I've went through so many different companies of who like insurance companies, mortgage brokers. I've had some bad companies that I was like, oh, I'm never going to use them again. And then I find good companies. And so I just like, you know what? They're good companies. They help me and my students. Let me just put them in here. So these are all good companies. Like if you want to start an LLC, I think it's free. If you use this company, start your LLC. Great insurance companies, great lenders that I've used. So yes, keep going. But yeah, I wanted to share that to you. Everything that has worked in my business, I just give it away in here.
So let's check. Let's do something here. So let's say we have someone who is just having some rough issues right now, and they're thinking about selling their home. Rather than selling their home, it would be best if they just went ahead and started renting out their home, right, and making some additional money on top. What would you do
So
in this
it,
scenario?
Yes. So here's a couple thoughts. So it's nuanced because everybody's situation is going to be different. That's why jump on the call. I left the link in the chat because I want to walk you through this. But let's say let's just give a general idea. Somebody owns a home and they want to start generating revenue. One quick way is, and if you're okay with it, one quick way is like just rent out one of your rooms. If you rent out one of your rooms and if you're okay, like, hey, if you're in dire straits, hey, you're gonna have to live with somebody. It's okay. Don't sell the property. Don't when you sell the property, you lose an asset that can eventually make you money. Here's what I would suggest. If you just need really quick money, rent out one of the rooms. And if you're like, man, I can't, well, figure it out. Like you're going to have to figure it out. Now, that's the first thing. First thought is renting out one of your rooms. Another thought is if you have equity in a property, you live in a house, just like that pastor, Pastor Benjamin, he had equity in his house that he got a home equity line of credit. And he then used that home equity credit to buy another property. And people ask the question, well, Dustin, what about the increase in expenses? Like, isn't that go up? Like, yes, it does, but we do not use that money unless we buy an asset that pays for that increase and makes us money. So the scenario, if you have a house, honestly, don't sell it. What you could do is figure out a way to then rent out that house, either short term, mid-term, or long term. Let's say every scenario, because what I love to do, and this is the reason why I have the call, is because I'm going to have lots of questions. Like maybe there's a question like, hey, if you can move out and live with, like maybe you have a grandma that you could live with for a year and you rent out that house and then you make money that gets you on your feet to that. There's so many nuances, but it's just I've coached this for 10 years now. I've seen like everybody's scenario wherever they're at, they might think my scenario is different. Nope. Nope. Everybody has same types of things and we can get through those.
Right.
I mean,
One. Go ahead.
um, the way my dad did it was he got it on tax lien, lived in it, fixed it, rented or sold. I just don't know how he got capital.
So that's usually the hardest part for most people is like, how do we get financing? How do we get capital? Access to capital is the great term that I like to use. How to get access to capital in order to buy that real estate. And honestly, I've done 20 different ways to get access to capital. And I could coach, it's going to be a long way to literally walk you through the process. But home equity line of credits, you can do business loans. You can do a portfolio loan with a bank. You can even private money, renting it from or borrowing for people, taking over a property. Meaning, if somebody is saying, "Hey, this has literally happened. I'm getting a divorce. I just want to stick it to my wife. Take it from me, and here's the mortgage. Like, just start paying the mortgage, and I'll give you the property." It's called a subject to. Anyways, there's so many more to go through, but yes, that's the hardest part is for people is getting financing. But what it really comes down to, it's not the financing, it's the lack of options. The lack of options that you don't know what's out there. Once you know what's out there, now you can start seeing and you'll be like, oh my goodness, this is a lot more simple than I thought it was.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's the same way too with us on the other side, just law side. If you don't know, you don't know how to, you can't apply it, right? It's once you know how to apply it, then you can again reach into those options and start utilizing them to the best of your ability. Um, Abundance did ask, how do you do a HELOC when your credit is not good?
Ooh, now, well, so I wanted to show this on the screen one more time. Definitely get
Yeah.
a time. I want to walk you through everything. Every situation is going to be different. Grab that time. But if you do, make sure you show up because I'm going to show up. That's just how I'm going to make an agreement with you. I'm going to show up. Now, if you have bad credit, the first thing to do is to get out of having that bad credit by literally like day one. Right now, figure out what here. How would I say it? So, a financial literacy educational type of course to help you get out of bad credit. In fact, that's one thing I literally I created one and give it to all my students. It's literally how to get out of credit or bad credit, get good credit, and get out of debt and all that sort of stuff. So definitely get financial education to stop digging a hole. Like if you need to get out of a hole, first stop digging. That's number one. And then number two, start climbing out of that hole. But that being said, if you want to get a prop, so if you want to invest in real estate and you have have a property, you need a HELOC and you have bad credit, what I would do is I would call local credit unions and try to talk to local credit unions. You might have already done that, but local credit unions are the best ones for home equity line of credits. They're very forgiving. They have great, very slow. Yes, you have what? I can't remember what question I asked. Abundance. Go ahead and type it
Hey
again in the
there.
chat. Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
I can, yeah, I just have my boys in the background. Thank you so much for hosting this class today. I would love to take out a HELOC. I went and visited a private credit union and I've never had bad credit. Just a couple years ago, I was in the 800s and the solar guys got me, the security guys got me right when I bought my new house. And with your agreements, I had revoked the contract. I'd rescinded the contract, but then they still, went through with it. They put it on my credit. Some things happened. I didn't notice it. And things like that just really tanked my credit. And I didn't think it would hit me that hard. Also, buying a house that hit my credit. I didn't realize that all these things would pile up. And, you've got my HOA got raised, tons of things happened. And then I had an injury. And then I've had some interesting things happen ever since I've had some good things happen. Then the game starts, the real scenarios start happening. And so I would love to take out a HELOC. I have been trying to dispute the credit bureaus. I'm trying to get that together. But I know everybody's using AI for these things. I just don't want to be ignorant and do something and then it, sets me off in another path. So I've just been really trying to make sure before I send all these letters out that because you can dispute your credit and fix your credit in 4 days, 7 days, 30 days, 60 days. And so if I did that, I would be in the clear and could take
Well,
out a HELOC.
all those companies are definitely there's a price for that, and they're promising if the best case scenario, it's going to be in 7 days, but it's probably going to be a lot longer than that. Honestly, you can do it yourself, meaning fighting all the different things. But getting your credit up, it really comes down to credit comes down to how much you have capacity for you to borrow from banks and credit cards, like how much you're able to borrow, and then how much are you actually using, and then have you not paid back or have you paid back? That's really what credit is. They just want to see, are you able or have you had any problems with paying it in the back in the past? And so if there's any way for you to like, it's kind of hard to dive into, but like let's say the solar company, like fight with them, and even you can even threaten legal action against them if they're in the wrong and have that pulled off your credit. Now another way, and here's another idea for you outside of fixing your credit, because obviously that's going to take time. Another way outside of that is if you talked with, maybe you have a family member that would be willing to be a part of it as well. That gets your debt to income ratio higher, your credit higher. Somebody that you love, like your parents or something like that. Obviously, you don't want to get somebody you're not that close to. But we got to, yeah, it's going to be tough, but that's something that really we got to dig out of that hole.
So my situation's pretty unique. I have a lot of family who's passed away, so there's not family in that sense. And then I come from a highly religious family, and I'm not a part of that religion anymore. And so they've definitely tried to make me not receive any blessings, if you will. So I have not received any inheritances. I've not received anything because, there again, I come from an
Terrible.
LDS family. If I'm not in the temple, I don't get anything. So
Oh
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
very clear. And so over the last few years, I've received paperwork that has specifically said you are not entitled to anything. And I think it's very interesting because a lot of my family members played that card, so they would be able to get the money. And so seeing how money's worked, my mom did real estate. She was a cleaning lady. She was the OG of the Burr method. She would go out of town 45 minutes, an hour away, out in the outskirts, buy a place, live in it, and then rent it out, buy a foreclosure. And that was what we grew up in. Then she, bought duplexes that were dilapidated. We'd go in, carpet, paint. I mean, I am no stranger to hard work. I have definitely had some of the best people to learn from because of their tenacity, their grit, and their unrelenting will to, beg anybody for anything. They worked very hard for what they had, and I'm very grateful for that example. So when you talk about renting out rooms, I would love to do that. In my position, I don't want to open my children up to
I agree.
strangers
I'm with
and
you.
things like that. And so
So
what I
here,
did, I moved out to the outskirts too, bought a new home, a new build. So we're the first ones in here. I would love to rent it out, but the quality of the home, we've already done some damage, right? There's always going to be wear and tear,
well,
but
let
the
me let me help
quality,
you. Let me help you out. So the reason why I wanted to pause you there for a second is the first thought that we have, which is a good one. How do we utilize the home equity line of credit? Um, I will say that that's one of 20 different ways to get financing, to get money, to buy real estate. And so another way to dig out of a hole is to fill it in with, like, you're digging in, you fill in with dirt, which means you're getting more income from other properties. And let's say, like, if you're a hard worker, like you said you are, which I'm 100% agree, I'm glad you are. Um, so there are so many ways to get properties with hard work as opposed to lots of money. Now, that's the whole trade-off. If you have a lot of money, you don't have to work very hard to buy the properties. If you don't have any money, then you work harder, but you just have to know the strategies to get these properties. Is this making sense?
oh yeah, no, if I could do a HELOC, I would be okay because I would have, it's like a 10-year, I'd have 10 years to have to start paying that back. Then I'd have 30 years to finish paying it off. And so I've just been trying to go, like Comerica. There's different little credit unions around here. And basically my credit tanked.
If they say
And
no, it's going to be hard. You have to fix that credit, and
yes, that's where I'm
that's going to be
at.
a big uphill battle. But at the same time, if you're able to buy properties outside of using your own credit, which it's absolutely possible, then that's a way to go. While, remember, I was telling Cam, don't use the or. Should I build my credit or invest in real estate? Don't do that. You should do both. You should build your credit and invest in real estate.
Oh yeah, no, real estate is the way. Because if you look at any business, it's all about real estate acquisition. So, I mean, even churches. And so that's the thing. I don't want to
Absolutely.
give up this property, but what I do want to do is, so I would sell this and I could go buy land. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to qualify right now to buy another property. I would buy land, no zoning. And I've been looking at other methods. So, even having truck, 18-wheeler parking, you can have overnight parking, you can have different things like that. And those bring
Great
in
idea. RVs.
400,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the direction I'm going in. I don't want to go backwards a little bit, but we've been here for a couple years. It's been a wonderful experience, but I do want to live in a different area. And so I'm kind of locked in here. And so thinking, okay, if I sell, then I can have a little bit, I can put money down on land and then live off that land, then develop it and things like that. And so I'm trying to look at some creative solutions here. It's just more so that if I could get over that hurdle of fixing my credit, because like I said, I've never had bad credit. I always did the 15 and 3 rule, paying credit cards, never had an issue with being late. And with the amount of responsibilities I've had, and I've not been using AI, I've been doing everything, very, very primitively. It's been an eye-opening lesson learned that, I need to have some support and I need to put in the right systems in place.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, I think I mean that's why I wanted to bring up your situation just to see what type of scenarios or options you have. Again, if you don't know if those options, how are you going to be able to take them? Um, and I definitely would think that I've shared the link and he's shared the link a couple times, which I'll just share again. If you want to book anything with him and claim a free 30-minute investor strategy session, this is definitely one of the avenues in which you could take. And I definitely see the future as Operation Wisedome coming together and building something like this in collaboration or in conjunction with Dustin here. And like I say, it's almost universal timing. That things are aligning the way that they're aligning. The universe just works like that.
Hey, Cam, really quick.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so to help anybody, I made this video a little bit ago. I know now 20 different ways to get financing, but I put the YouTube video in the chat for my YouTube channel of the 14 funding strategies for real estate investing. There's since a few more that I've added to the list now, but go ahead and watch that. Obviously it's free. It's YouTube. Go ahead and take that. Hopefully that might give you some ideas of how to move forward.
straight up. All right, I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I kind of have some final questions here that I want to deliver to you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Of everything that you taught us today, what is the one principle a beginner must understand before risking a single dollar?
Build the business. That's by far. There's two. I'll start with stop working for somebody else. Not meaning like just quit your job, but like get your mindset out of active income and get your mindset into passive income or businesses where the businesses are then making money. That leads into build the business first. That's the number one thing is if you build the business first in anything that you're doing from real estate to if you have a certain type of business, you're selling things, whatever. If you don't build it first and you don't have the experts or right people in place, it's going to fall. And that's how we scale it to get to 20, 30, 40, 100 properties is because we build the business, get the foundation. And these are the 4 steps that we have as an investor. We build the foundation and then we do the acceleration. And acceleration leads into liberation. Liberation leads into sovereignty. And that's the goal for you.
Most definitely. What is the most dangerous mistake you see people make after becoming excited about real estate investing?
They invest for appreciation. Oh man, hey, my house went up, 20% in 2 years because of COVID or whatever, 5 years, whatever, or it went up 100%. And they think that's going to happen all the time. In fact, one of the biggest things, so I've been investing since 2006, started coaching coaching people in 2015 before like Instagram and social media and all this sort of stuff. And so the biggest mistake is listening to people who've only been investing for like 3 years, 4 years. Oh yeah, I got 3 short-term properties that are making me lots of money. But you've only been investing for 3 years in an up market. Eventually there's going to be a down market and you're going to lose your pants like everybody else did back in 2008 where I made more money. So the biggest thing is do not invest for appreciation. Like I'm excited that's going to go up. Don't invest for that. Invest for income. And then if you build the business, it's going to work for you.
Okay. One that's kind of on the opposite spectrum now. Tell us about one investment that failed or seriously underperformed, and what did that experience force you to actually change?
Stocks. I hate stocks. Seriously, I'm terrible. I'm very good at buying high and selling low every single time. That's the worst. You don't want to do that because you lose money. You buy high and sell low.
Yeah.
And I'm great at that. But because it's not a business. You're investing in a rich person's business. Think of, oh yeah, I'm gonna invest in Elon Musk, the star thing or whatever. You're investing, you're giving your money to somebody else. That's why they have the stock exchange, for you to give your money to rich people. That's why they do it. Instead, I now invest my own money in my own businesses, build my own businesses in my real estate, just like the rich do. So stop giving your money to the rich. Do it like the rich does.
Most definitely. 2 last final questions. If every Wisedomian took only one concrete action within the next 7 days, what should that action be, and what should they absolutely avoid doing?
Well, if it honestly, it depends on the goal of like if their goal is to become financially sovereign, let's have that as being the goal. The first goal is to, I think, like going with abundance alignment is if you're in a hole, let's stop digging, number one, because you only have 7 days. There's very little to that time that you can really do a whole ton. But first, get that mindset shifted from being an active income to a passive income, like you're a business owner, you're an investor, and then stop digging that hole and start filling in that hole and start climbing out of that hole. So in 7 days. Now, if we're going to go further out, I can give you more, but that's the number one thing. We got to change our mindset to now we are the wealthy people because now our mindset is what makes us wealthy. Oh, one quick thing I'm going to share with you. One of my students quit his job in March. And he quit his job in March because he had much cash flow coming in from his real estate. Then he sold a couple properties, like, oh, Dustin, it's a little tighter now because I sold a couple of the properties. I said, well, because you're successful and employed, it's not that you automatically have this money. It's because you now have the understanding, the mindset, the knowledge, the experience, and the people around you that you don't even need to work a job because you could find other ways to make money without working for somebody else.
Right, most definitely. Okay, final question. When your children and grandchildren look back upon Dustin, what do you hope they say you built beyond properties, income, and wealth?
Oh, so I am a Christ follower, meaning I'm a Christian, but I say I'm a Christ follower. And so if there's anything that I have 5 kids, and the number one legacy, actually the only legacy anybody will ever leave is their children and how they treat their children, how they raise their children. And so everything that I do, from coming on calls like this or teaching people about real estate, it's really to point people that, hey, eventually all of us are going to die. It's a proven fact. 100% of the people die. You need to be thinking about what's going to happen after that, and what I would, meaning like death and what happens after that. So I love to share, like I read the Bible literally 3-4 times a day, and I read it to my kids because I believe that in the Bible, it shares with us how to be great people here on earth, but then also gives you hope for the future. And so what I want is my kids, my children, to look back at me and say, my dad set us up for success. That's why we homeschool. That's why I teach that. My 16-year-old bought her first property. And so the Bible says that a righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Not just your children, but for your children's children. And not like I'm really bummed that Abundance had that issue with the family. It's just terrible. But if my goal is that my kids realize that, number one, they have the money, that's easy because they have the properties. But number two, that they know how to do it, that they've done it themselves, and then they can teach their kids how to do it as well.
Right, most definitely. Yo, Dustin, bro, like, whoa, like you blew my mind today for real, dude. Oh, I'm so happy to have had you on. I want everybody to unmute, literally everybody. I want y'all to unmute and thank Dustin for being here today with us on Operation Wisedome. Please, if y'all can unmute.
Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you,
Thank
Dustin.
you. Thank you so much, brother.
Appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Love it,
No,
guys.
I want everybody to unmute and thank Dustin for real. Everybody
That's right.
unmute and thank Dustin, please.
Thank you, Dustin. We're
Yes,
so grateful
sir.
you were able to speak today.
Great presentation, Dustin. Thanks for coming on.
Most definitely, bro. Yeah.
You
Go ahead.
guys are all very welcome. Hopefully all of you are on the path to sovereignty in every single way. And so I'm glad to be there. Hopefully a little bit a part of your journey.
We
Yeah,
are
no,
the
it's
sovereignest motherfuckers in the world. So yeah.
what's crazy, man, is that we've definitely been more on the sovereign path as far as standing up on rights and starting to bring forth the accountability across the nation. We've got a lot of initiatives and campaigns going. The Right to Travel Act and bills are being submitted, state by state by state. And we're doing a lot on that side, right? For the people, not just for ourselves, but for the people and the future generations. But we haven't really spoken too much on the financial side of things, on how we can empower ourselves and move more into sovereignty and freedom. But real estate's always been on my mind. And so I think this is a very powerful moment in transition to incorporate the two.
Can I share something real quick about sovereignty and real estate? The reason why I do this too.
Yeah.
So obviously, I love the Second Amendment. I love being able to provide for myself. I love, the freedom to be able to speak and all that sort of stuff, like the freedoms that we have. And then the freedom of owning property. all the other countries, you do not have the ability to do this. If you're in another country, they want to invest in real estate because they can't invest because it's just literally impossible to do it over there. And so, one thing that also, the reason why I love coaching, I don't tell, because you guys are sovereign, just like I try to be as well. I'm going to share this with you. I don't share this with many people, but one of the main reasons, like I told you, I share about God. That's number one. But number two, if more people own real estate, the harder it will be for the rich, wealthy, and elites to take it from us by passing laws, because there's more of us that own it as opposed to be renters. In fact, there's something, I think it was like an agenda by the elites saying that you will own nothing and be happy. I'm like, that sounds terrible. I want everybody to own everything so that they can't take it away from us. So if I coach you how to invest in real estate, you have a bunch of real estate, then it's that many more people that it's going to be harder for them to take it away from us.
Dustin, any final thoughts anybody would like to give?
I do. I was 15 when my dad died. He had a 10-plex, a 4-plex, and 3 houses, and I had to take care of him, and I swore I'd never have a rental. And I'm 79 years old, and I kind of regret just having 3 of them through my lifetime. And I am passing them on to my children.
That's amazing, bro.
Right.
At least you're doing what you can, my boy. You know what I'm saying? At least you're doing what you do now. And that's the whole goal of it. Dustin, thank you again, brother. I really appreciate everything. I can't wait to honestly flourish with you and continue growing in every possible way that we possibly can with you, bro. It's been awesome.
I guess my point is, I wish I had the knowledge that you have offered that wasn't available from my dad leaving at my early age.
Most definitely. Yeah, he's giving us a whole bunch here, bro.
You know what? Let me do one more, because you just inspired me. Let me do one more. I'm going to give you guys my course completely for free. Is that okay?
Whoa, that's
you guys can get started.
What? That's wild, bro. You don't have to
do some practice in the Discord. Because I'm kind of slow to comprehend things, and my dad's been doing that for more like most of his life, and that's how he made his millions.
Dang, bro, that's up.
Awesome.
Bro. That's cool.
So I put the link in the chat. Go ahead and get my free course. I've had people just from this course. You just download it, and then you start investing, because I teach you how to find an area in the country and invest, how to do it right, and all that stuff. And you have my software, like it's free. Go ahead and use that. And so hopefully I'm just getting you on the right direction. So you guys are inspiring me. I can't wait to see you guys succeed.
Bro, I can't wait to involve ourselves further with you as well, bro.
Same here with Cam.
Dustin, it was a great one. Again, this is Operation Wisedome. This is Saturday, July the 11th. If y'all aren't in this thing, you better get involved, because we're constantly growing in multiple forms and fashions. Hey, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Dustin.